It was just a joke. Prank.
Hello friends and welcome back to ReddX, your source for the freshest daily Reddit content anywhere on the internet. Promise, swearsies, it's just a fact, and it's totally science. Go ahead and look it up. Today we are jumping into r/tales of Neckbeards, yes indeed. Let's get some plugs and disclaimers out of the way, and then we can jump right into this Neckbeard cringe. Talcum Beard, the neckbeard that found himself too handsome for his own good. It does happen, I guess. Hi guys, first time posting on Reddit. Hope I'm doing it fine. Looks good so far. Long time lurker, first time poster, I guess. I used to hear a lot of Reddit while working from r/Daily Dose of Reddit and ReddX. Hey! I feel kind of out of sorts when compared to those two, but I'll take it where I can get it. And I got to the realization that I've been friends with a neckbeard for a long time, so I decided to share. English is not my first language, and this will contain some sexual discussion at some point. Thanks for the trigger warning. Here's the cast. OP, 26 female, short, black-haired goth girl with big knockers that dies for roleplay, video games, and books. Grumpy Cat, 26 male, tall, slim, but strong guy with an edgy Viking vibe and the default expression of Grumpy Cat on his face, and my boyfriend at the time. And Talcum Beard, the beard of our story. He doesn't look like the average neckbeard, I guess, but he totally plays the role. As I heard a lot, it's the beard on the inside. Hey, I'm gonna put on a t-shirt! 27 male, super slim. He dresses like an 8-year-old kid. His mom still buys all his clothing and shoes. Oh, that's adorable. Long hair and a few hairs spread through his neck and chin that he considered
A well-maintained beard.
He's not a dirty person, but he always has that super weird smell that's like talcum powder and baby shampoo. He smells like a new dad just varnished his kid in soap and then coated him in talcum powder like a croquette. Mama's boy. I met Talcum Beard while playing WoW, and we got along pretty well. He was simping a bit towards a rogue in our group, but nothing weird or unusual on an MMORPG, I guess. And he seemed quite funny. Grumpy Cat knew him from some time ago, and he seemed harmless. After playing for some time, we realized that we were neighbors and decided to meet in person. Oh no. Our first meeting went well. We realized that he had some odd behaviors, like never looking someone in the eye, and doing a weird thing with his mouth that gathered dense white saliva in the corners of his mouth, so when he spoke, it stretched out like cheese on a pizza. Oh god. That boy needs to hydrate. It's so gross. We tried to meet in open spaces so the smell wasn't so invasive for us, and all went fine, at least for a while. He insisted a lot on meeting with each of us separately, and we didn't think bad of that at that time, but I quickly realized that he behaved quite different when Grumpy Cat wasn't around. He opened my doors, insisted on paying for my stuff, even though I did work and had my own money. He didn't, and he was taking all this from his mom. Oof. He called me
M'lady.
a couple of times, but I cut that out super quick, and he carried himself as if we were on a date. I made it super clear that I was going out with Grumpy Cat though, and he never tried to touch me in an improper manner. One day, we all three met at a bar, and we were eating and drinking. Suddenly he changes the subject. Talcum Beard.
You know, the reason I don't like gay people is because they can't stand my charm.
Quite a non sequitur, Talcum Beard. Grumpy Cat and I looked at each other, super confused. First, because it had nothing to do with our previous conversation. And second, because we could not believe what we just heard. OP, what? Talcum Beard.
Yeah, you see, I've got like super silky hair, and my skin is fair, and I have a small frame, so I'm just like irresistible for them.
A small frame. I don't intend to be mean, but he's literally one of the ugliest people that I've ever met in my life, It seems like nothing on his body or face is in the correct size or place. He's just grotesque. And when he smiles, he sends chills down your spine, like the actors that portray pedophiles in films. He just has that vibe. He's nothing of the sort, though, let me be clear. He just has that cringy pedophile aura. It's probably just as bad. Grumpy Cat is baffled, and I'm using all of my self-control not to snap at him or laugh. Talcum Beard,
I can see his stares. How those people look at me. I know they want me, but they're afraid to hit on me. It's just super annoying.
OP, Talcum Beard, you know I'm bisexual and I don't find you attractive at all. Talcum Beard,
You don't count. You're a girl. I got nothing against gay or bisexual girls. It's just the boys. They're the worst. Girls can watch me all they want.
Grumpy Cat, Talcum Beard, you know I'm bisexual too, right? Talcum Beard,
No, you're not.
Grumpy Cat, yes I am. Talcum Beard,
But you don't look at me like that.
Grumpy Cat, no, I don't. But I am bisexual regardless. OP, also, what you said is like super homophobic. Just because someone likes guys doesn't mean that they're into you. Talcum Beard,
But they do.
we stood up, paid, and went home, and decided not to talk to him again unless he apologized and realized what was wrong with his behavior. A couple of months later, he reached out to us and did apologize. I later discovered that his mom forced him to do so because we were his only friends and the only reason aside from university that he actually went out. Damn, dude. Too accurate. After a while of knowing him, I realized that he had an odd obsession of talking about sex and relationships all the time. Also, he confessed that he never had a girlfriend or went beyond holding hands with someone. Oh no. But he was super proud of the day that
He nearly got a phone number from some chick at a party.
yeah, 11 years ago. Hold on to that. It's the small victories, buddy. He often rambled about how
His woman needed to be gorgeous, with big boobs and a big booty, and slim and fair-skinned with lush long hair and green or blue eyes, and she has to play video games and love roleplay and comics and be a good cook and be quiet and also be super feminine and always listen to him and also be smart and love him unconditionally. Ah!
that's great, bro, but how about you fucking pick one and work your way up? When I asked him what he had to offer such a perfect girl, he told me,
He was faithful, and that should be enough for a woman because most men were not.
and that he was a
Good guy.
TM. When I told him that he was no George Clooney, he looked at me with teary eyes and went out for a bit. Just gotta call him like you sees him, I guess. So as you can imagine, with a character like that, I've got quite a few small anecdotes about his weird behavior, like how he tried to hit on me and Grumpy Cat at the same time. Or the day that we were at work, at some point we worked together, and he started talking to us about
Anal explorations.
roll for anal circumference. He also tried to seduce my sister in front of my parents. Oh, and there was also the time that he tried to seduce my best friend by stripping in front of his own mother. Jesus Christ. I need to hear those stories, OP. This guy sounds like an absolute mess, and I am loving it. I just don't know what it is about World of Warcraft, man. It seems like World of Warcraft can take a normal human being and just morph them into something else. I had to quit. It wasn't worth the time investment. There's a lot of other stuff I can be doing. Making money instead of making gold. But you know, at least probably Talcum Beard has his epic flyer or something. When TBC Classic rolls around, he's gonna be rolling in bitches. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I do think it's nice that he seems confident, but I think honestly that he's overcompensating in a big way. Like, he knows he's not attractive, so he has to go on and on about how attractive he is to try and make himself feel better, which is why it cut him so deep when OP pointed out, like, look, dude, you don't look as good as you think you look. He does take care of himself physically, you know. He takes showers, or at least covers himself in talcum powder enough that he doesn't smell bad. So that's a small step. But outside of, you know, physical maintenance, you also need to do the mental health part. And sitting there playing WoW for like 8 to 12 hours a day is no good for your mental health. Take it from somebody who has been there before. Just fucking nip it in the bud, cut it out. It's not worth it. I've met some very cool people in WoW. I still raid occasionally on a private server, maybe like once or twice a month, if that. But we hang out in Discord, you know, I like those boys. I just can't know life it like I used to. I got a wife and kids and a YouTube channel and all this other stuff going on. And I would definitely pick that over being High Warlord or whatever that PvP rank is in WoW that people grind for weeks for. So yeah, I'd like to say that he'll get it figured out. I mean, he's 27, which is slightly past the point of getting it figured out, but everybody's on a different timeline, you know. I'll try not to judge him too harshly. Maybe he'll hit 30 and be like, holy shit, I really need to get it together. That age was 25 for me, by the way. Some people got it figured out at fucking 15, but you know, different strokes for different folks. Anyways, that's far too much rambling, I'm sure. We will jump into the next story and wrap this video right up so we can look forward to Valentine's compilation uploads all week long. Let me know if you're excited for that in the comments. I hope you are. I hope this is the right move. It's hours and hours of content. Like, how can it be a bad thing? Anyways, we shall see. How I ended up dating a neckbeard. Oh, dating a neckbeard. Tisk tisk. We live and we learn, don't we? Hello again. If you haven't read the first post I posted, that's perfectly fine, as it was more a prequel to the story that I'm about to tell you. All you really need to know from that story was that I met my ex my freshman year in high school, and from our first encounter, there was something off, as he tried to touch my breasts, and when I showed discomfort, he said,
It was just a joke.
Now, I need to add a trigger warning, because there are themes of sexual assault and general emotional abuse in this story, so please scroll on if you get triggered by these themes. I also have to admit that while I also did horrible things in this relationship, that does not excuse the behaviors of my ex. Anyway, without further ado, here's our cast. OP, yours truly, a white woman with short black hair. While I exclusively wore nothing but sweatpants and sweatshirts with a beanie, boys in my program constantly talked about how
I was one of the very few white girls with an ass.
I'm also short and physically weak. Neckbeard, my ex. He was taller than me, but not super tall. He was also a little chubby, but nowhere near being super overweight. He had no beard, but he did have a patchy mustache that he never shaved. He also wore almost exclusively sweatpants, with the occasional pair of Salinger jeans. The jeans were like the awful texture patches on the front. While he didn't smell like BO, he did have this like bizarre musty sort of smell. He was black, but that won't be important until later in the story. DM, he was the dungeon master of our party. He is tall, and while he shaved, when he didn't, he had a whole beard. A whole full beard. He was extremely skinny, and while he had his moments, he was extremely caring. Star Wars. He was/is Neckbeard's best friend, and we were friends until recently. He was also extremely tall. He was always well shaven and was really energetic and fun to be around. He was also extremely caring. Hamilton. She was one of my best friends, and we still talk occasionally. She has short brown hair and honestly one of the sweetest people you could meet. Avatar. She was my best friend, but we had a messy falling out the last 2 months of high school due to her boyfriend at the time. Quite a cast list. Let's see how many I can remember. There are more people in our group, but they aren't important story-wise. So, let us flash back to that one Valentine's Day. Ooh, topical. Avatar, Hamilton, and I did not have dates for the prom, as none of us had boyfriends, nor did we really like anyone. So, my tomboy self decided that I was gonna rent a suit and take them to prom since we were gonna go as a group anyways. Avatar and Hamilton loved that idea, and were really excited about it, so we decided that we were gonna go to the mall and some shops around town so they could choose which dress that they wanted. As a side note, I actually got a concussion from one of these shops because one of the plus-size, full-length ball gown dress racks fell on me, even though no one was looking at the rack. They renamed me in the group chat as Shop Till You Drop. That sounds like a lawsuit waiting to happen, OP. What's going on there? Anyways, eventually my friends found dresses that they liked, and all that was left was to go get a suit. And then we were on. And that's when Neckbeard stepped into the picture. He had a girlfriend at the time, but
was unhappy with the relationship,
as he would complain during our D&D campaign. While this was fine because everyone in the party was friends, the main complaint that he stated, which should have been a huge red flag, was that
he wasn't getting laid.
What a pissant, dude. Don't sit there and complain about your girlfriend to all your friends. Grow a dick and fucking break up with her. What's wrong with you? Neckbeard,
we've been dating for almost a year and all I've gotten was a hand job, and she didn't even finish me off.
Not his exact words, but that was the gist of the complaint. After he would complain, we would just continue with the campaign. While we were in class, Neckbeard and I would talk about anime and music since we sat next to each other. He would talk about the rap that he listened to and would ask me what I listened to. OP, I don't really like rap that much, but I do like classic rock and alternative. My favorite band is Panic at the Disco. Neckbeard,
oh, you listen to that depressing shit. What about anime? What's your favorite?
I must interject again and say that rap is extremely depressing from a socioeconomic standpoint. OP, favorite anime. I really love One Piece. It's long, but it's funny, and it has arcs, so the plot doesn't get boring. Neckbeard,
I see. Are you caught up on Attack on Titan?
OP, no, I kinda lost interest. We continued to talk about anime, but this is the part of the conversation that is important for later stories. Later, when we weren't doing anything in class, he asked me,
if I wanted to play a game where you listen to an anime opening theme and you guess what anime it's from.
I beat him at this game, and he got upset and kept challenging me throughout lunch, and when I got one wrong that he knew, he tried to rub it in my face. After this encounter, we would talk kinda often because we still sat near each other. Red flags everywhere, OP. Everywhere. A week later, Neckbeard talked to Dungeon Master about our regular conversations. Again, Neckbeard still had a girlfriend. Neckbeard asked Dungeon Master
if I ever mentioned anything to him about liking Neckbeard.
Dungeon Master obviously said no. And so Neckbeard begged Dungeon Master to ask Hamilton. Hamilton asked me if I liked Neckbeard, and I answered honestly, no. Neckbeard wasn't convinced, and broke up with his girlfriend, which he should have done in the first place. The situation blew up in our friend group, and everyone was waiting to see what would happen. Oh, it's like a sitcom, but fucking creepy and horrible. Star Wars eventually asked me
if I like Neckbeard,
and I responded, not really, but I guess we'd be a good couple. Big mistake. Yeah, I don't know why you'd phrase it like that. That's horrible. We'd be a good couple? I can't help you, OP, if you're not gonna help yourself. Jesus. Anyhow, nothing happens for a while, and Valentine's Day came up, and Hamilton, Avatar, and I decided to dress up. I wore a short burgundy skirt with a tight backless t-shirt, and in order to prevent getting dress coded, I had to wear tights under the skirt, which ended up calling more attention to my butt. Dungeon Master even made a comment to the boys in the group that
he liked my butt and would want to smash.
Oh, it's just a giant group of creeps. This was the day that marked me for Neckbeard. He was convinced that I was crushing on him and that my body was
something he wanted.
Ugh, fucking cringe. The next day was a Friday, and we had a prep rally at the end of the day. Is it pep rally? I always thought it's pep rally. During lunch, the guys in my group were acting weird. They grouped up away from the table that we normally sat at. Avatar and Hamilton asked me what was going on, and I had no clue. So I walked over to the boys, and then they all just stared at me while shushing each other. I thought that was strange until on the way back to class, Star Wars walked up to me. Star Wars,
hey OP, how you doing?
OP, doing fine, I guess. Just very tired and not looking forward to working tonight. Star Wars,
aw, that sucks. I hope you can rest afterwards.
OP, yeah. As soon as I hit the pillow tonight, it is over. I started to chuckle at my awful joke, but Star Wars wasn't bothered. Star Wars?
Hey, can I ask a personal question?
OP? Sure. What's up? Star Wars?
Neckbeard's mom is going on a business trip this weekend. Would you want to go to his and, fool around?
OP? I'm on my period, so no. But we can hang out if he wants. God. Facepalm, fucking head desk. What is this? This was not the correct response. Duh. And I hate that I was so naive to even say that. Star Wars?
Okay.
He runs off happily and goes back to the boys to tell them what I said. The conversation at lunch became abundantly clear after this exchange, but I laughed it off as, boys will be boys. Why does so much shitty behavior get written off as boys will be boys, bro? Come on, accountability. While I was walking to the prep rally, Neckbeard walked up to me. Neckbeard?
Hey, can we talk?
OP? Yeah. Neckbeard?
So, I heard you have a crush on me?
OP? I don't. He laughed and continued to follow me. Neckbeard?
That's not what you said to Star Wars.
OP? Yeah, it is. I told him that I didn't have a crush on you, but I thought we would be a good couple. I realize now that this was something that could be extremely misunderstood. I don't understand how you would take it any other way except... Lord. Neckbeard?
Mm-hmm. So, anyways, would you like to go on a date this weekend?
OP? Yeah, I'm down. I have to work tonight and Saturday morning. Neckbeard?
I have to work Saturday night, so Sunday it is.
OP? Yeah, that works. I don't have a crush on you, but let's go on a date. Bro. I'm losing all hope at this point. The rest of the prep rally went on, and at the end I got on the bus and went home. Now, there are some important things to note. I had really bad self-esteem, and while I didn't really like him like that, I thought that since we were friends, it really wouldn't be that big of a deal and that I could trust him. I thought that I could learn to like him and at least have some fun my last few months of high school. Plus, it would be so nice to have someone call me pretty since I didn't feel pretty. Stupid reasons, I know, but I was just a stupid kid. Yeah, hindsight's 20/20, I guess. I get you in some sort of way, OP. Fast forward to the first date. During the weekend, we decided that we were going to go to lunch and then play some video games, since he had the new Kingdom Hearts game at the time and wanted to show it to me since I had barely played the original on the PS2. I got ready and waited for him to pick me up since I didn't have a license yet. When he got to my house, he drove to the wrong house and had to walk around so that I could find him. When I finally did find him, I showed him to the right place so that he would know where to drop me off since I didn't know what time I would be back, and I really don't like walking around my neighborhood at night. Neckbeard?
Thanks for finding me. I was starting to get scared walking around.
OP? What do you mean? Neckbeard?
This is a white neighborhood, and I was scared of getting the police called on me.
I live in low-income houses, so there are so many different cultures and races living together. So I was kind of bothered that he even said that to me because he immediately started projecting stereotypes onto me and was genuinely surprised when I told him that I was barely above the poverty line. This was 10 minutes into the date, and he admitted to me that
he thought I was rich because I was white.
Oh yeah, but it's a good stereotype, right? I get into his car and we go out to lunch. When we got to the restaurant, he told me
to not touch the door,
and he opened it for me. I thought it was strange, in a cute way, like he was trying to impress me. At lunch, I basically told him everything he needs to know about me before deciding if he really wanted to get into a relationship with me. I had very bad depression, which causes me to act irrationally and do some self-destructive things. I also was assaulted by a guy who was friends with DM and Hamilton. The DM and Hamilton had to cut off because of this. He listens to me talk about these things and says,
it doesn't bother him that I had trauma,
and that
he still liked me.
I didn't want help, I just wanted to warn him since this will affect our relationship if we choose to pursue one, and I don't want to unload something on him in case he can't handle it emotionally. You honestly think this guy is equipped to handle emotions just because he says that he is? Because I don't. We continued the date, and when the server asked, 1 check or 2, I said 2, and he immediately corrected me to say,
just 1.
That's fine. I don't mind people paying for me. I just don't like acting like I'm entitled to a free meal because of a date. If he wants to pay, he can. After he pays, we go to leave the restaurant, and I open the door for him to walk through, and he yelled at me,
to get my hands off the door!
Jesus Christ. And then he grabbed the door and held it open for me. This started to annoy me because it was so much more work that was just completely unnecessary, and it felt condescending even though that probably wasn't his intention. I told him that I didn't like that, and he said,
that's because I'm not used to a real gentleman.
God. This made me roll my eyes, but I still agreed to continue to go to his house and play games. Jesus, OP, come on. When we got to his house, he led me up to his bedroom, and so I sat on his bed while he went to the bathroom. When he got back, he set up his PS4 and started to play Kingdom Hearts. He played for a little while, and then gave me the controller so I could play. Once I got bored, since I don't really like playing games from the middle instead of the beginning, he took the controller back and played a little more. After he was done, he asked me
if I've seen JoJo's Bizarre Adventure,
and he immediately put it on. I fell asleep after watching the first episode, and when I woke up, he started to make out with me. Did you wake up because he started to make out with you? Because that is fucking disgusting. We made out for a bit until he tried to take my clothes off, and I told him that I was on my period, again. He already knew this because Star Wars had told him, so he settled for grabbing my boobs and ass. We continued for a bit, so he instead took my shirt and bra off. This was fine. Then he started to touch me somewhere else, and I had to remind him again that I was on my period. He then took his pants off and told me
to suck it.
After a bit of that, he asked me again if we could have sex, and I told him that I was on my period.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
For the 3rd time in less than an hour. He didn't care and was going to continue to ask, and then he got up and grabbed a towel. Jesus. This is where things went downhill quick. I was pretty sure we were there already, OP. I got tired of him asking, and it's not like I didn't want to at some point, so I gave in. Ugh. After a bit, he grabbed my throat and choked me. OP, stop, that hurts. Neckbeard,
I thought you girls like this.
OP, I don't, so stop. Neckbeard,
I really like this though.
Jesus Christ. I tried to pull his hand off of me and he doesn't budge. And then he finishes and he gets off me. While I'm trying to breathe, he gets out his phone and proceeds to blast, I just had sex and it felt so good. The fact that this man likes Lonely Island unironically is probably the biggest red flag of all. I was severely uncomfortable, but he continued to play the whole song and sing it at the top of his lungs. After that, he gets back into the bed as I quickly run to the bathroom and take a long shower. Extremely long shower. I just want to rub the filth off. At least he had the decency to not follow me into the shower and only knock to give me a fresh towel. I got dressed and got back into the room, and he states,
I guess we're official.
He tells his friends everything that happened, and I notice a picture of me on his phone. That's when I realized that he took a picture of me when I was asleep and had sent it to his friends. I looked closer, and the caption made it all the worse.
She's out, boys.
Like me sleeping was a fucking trophy. I asked to go home, and he drove me back. Thank you guys for reading, and if you want more stories, I have many more. I even have some more lighthearted ones. Sorry if this was difficult to read. I haven't posted much, so I had a difficult time formatting this. See y'all next time. Jesus, the cringe meters were just off the chart for everybody involved in this story. I mean, the Neckbeard, he's bad. I hate the Neckbeard outright. But OP, come on. I'm cheering for you. I'm like, oh, this time she's gonna make the right decision. She's gonna cut him off. Never happens. She's just like, I don't know. I made up some excuse and just went along with it. Bruh, I didn't really want to go on the date, but I did. I didn't really want to go to his house and play video games, but I did. I didn't really want to take off my pants and fuck him while I'm on my period, but I did. It's like, bro, you had so many chances to like pump the brakes on this, but it was just like enabling every step of the way. God, I hate to hear it. Like, obviously the Neckbeard is a piece of trash, you know, not taking no for an answer, fucking hounding this woman until she's finally like, okay, whatever, have some bloody vagina. And not in the way that British people would say it. And then the fact that he's fucking choking her and she's like, don't choke me. And he's like, yeah, but I like it, so I'm just gonna keep doing it. Bruh, this guy's gonna end up in fucking prison. Mark my words, I see that coming from a mile away. You definitely aren't just a trophy, OP, and you don't deserve to be treated like this at all. And I hope that at some point in the future you find like a bit more self-respect and are able to stand up for yourself and be like, bro, this date sucks. Stop holding the fucking door open for me and let me go home. If I want to pay, let me pay for my own shit, you know? Like, you don't have to come off so abrasive, but sometimes that's what it takes with these beardos, man. You got to push back hard. And the fact that you weren't pushing back is really what they take advantage of. It definitely wasn't the worst beard story that I've heard, but man, it's pretty cringe, I'm gonna say that. Catfish Beard points across the river and tells me,
That's where he lives.
in a van down by the river.
Living in a van down by the river!
Worst date ever with a catfishing neckbeard. Hey y'all, I always thought I didn't have a story to tell about neckbeards. I've had encounters with nice guys, nice girls, and even a relationship with an absolute man-child. However, listening to ReddX reading the painful story of Weezybeard, oh, with the link and everything, that's so beautiful. Did you know that I'm contractually obligated to read your story if you link one of my videos in it? This is not true. Disclaimer, exceptions might be made. Anyways, this story made me realize that I almost was in a similarly dangerous situation with a neckbeard. This is my first story posted on Reddit, and English isn't my first language, so please excuse any format or grammar errors. As long as you know how to punctuate, we good, OP. I'll fix it up for you during narration. I decided to dub this dude Catfish Beard, or CB for short, for obvious reasons. I was freshly 18, single, sad, and exploring dating apps since that's what all my friends were doing. I didn't have my name on the app as you could set nicknames. There weren't a lot of guys my age on that app, but I started talking to a guy. 'Twas Catfish Beard. His profile pic had a tall blonde guy in it that looked similar to my first crush, but dressed better, even though the guy in the pic did have gag glasses on. He didn't have any other pictures, which should have been reason for alarm, but I was stupid, so I didn't mind it. His age was listed as 19, and he didn't have much in his bio. I had some interest listed in my bio that he said that he shared, which had me giddy with glee, that a cute boy my age would share the same interests and live in the same neighborhood as my school. Color me intrigued. My sad little butt was ready for a date, since the resemblance to my old crush gave me a sense of familiarity. I unfortunately did not have stranger danger bells installed in my cranium until after this godforsaken date. That is a worthy upgrade. If you got the money, go ahead and install them ASAP. Which, almost 10 years later, remains the absolute worst date that I have ever been on. Perfect. I told him I lived a bit closer to his supposed location than where I really lived, so we agreed to meet up at a school in between mine and his neighborhood. Catfish Beard was about 40 minutes late. I was about ready to leave. Oh, how I wish I had, when his rust bucket pulled up. I didn't think it was him until he came up to me and started addressing me by my nickname. Y'all, he was not even remotely similar to this pic. The only thing Catfish Beard didn't lie about was his height. He was about 6'2", long brown greasy hair, at least 300 pounds, some stubble on his face and neck, of course. A lot older than 19 from the looks of it. I was shocked. So shocked that I did something that was absolutely, inexcusably idiotic. I still got into that car and went for a ride. Kids, do as I say and not as I do. Never never get in a stranger's car, especially when that person lied about who he is. Yep, should have been the end of the date right there. The car was your typical Neckbeard mobile. Empty fast food containers and wrappers galore, some boxes and clothes, maybe? I wasn't really paying attention to the trash around me, as the smell was absolutely horrid. I'm still not sure if it was the trash sitting on the floor of the back seat, or the man that was supposed to be my date in the driver's seat stinking up the place.
He didn't want to wash away his pheromones, OP. And yeah, there's a raccoon dying in the back seat, but roadkill is still good food. You can't just leave it lying there.
So the first thing that I do is address the elephant in the car. OP, so whose picture did you use in your profile? It obviously isn't you, unless you had a full body transformation since it was taken. Catfish Beard nervously says,
I just googled hipster boy and used the first pic that popped up.
See, he likes to start his first dates with disappointment right out of the gate, so people won't be disappointed by the rest of his disgusting life. Just my luck that first picture looked so similar to my type. Mind you, the guy in the pic looked nothing like a hipster. He just looked like your average teen in a colorful shirt and shorts. OP, what about your age? You look a lot older than 19, no offense. Catfish Beard.
Yeah, I don't really have a lot of luck with girls my age, but I thought it would be better to put 19 in to cast a wider net.
There ain't no net wide enough for this boy. Do you think it really is just girls his age, or maybe just girls in general? Wider net? Does that even work? Why would you assume that would ever work? Who is that poor soul who would realistically fall for this? As a matter of fact, when has catfishing ever led to a happy ending? OP, so how old are you? Catfish Beard.
Roughly 10 years older.
OP,
Oh?
is your name even name mentioned in profile? Catfish Beard.
It's similar.
OP, is your real name something like a name similar to the fake name? Catfish Beard.
Yeah, that's my name.
Catfish Beard.
By the way, what's your name?
OP. Everyone calls me fake nickname. I'm not that fond of my real name. Whatever name you offered up to him, OP, is not his real name. He just kind of grasping at straws. He's like, yeah, totally, that's my name. Rumpelstiltskin. He then proceeds to try and guess my real name while making fun of the names that he guesses. I just thought, dude, I'm already obviously pissed. Don't make fun of what you assume my name is. It ain't helping your case. While I proceed to untangle his web of lies, he takes us to a drive-through McDonald's. Classy. That's exactly what I was gonna say. Super class. He doesn't ask what I want. He got me a $1 menu burger and a black coffee. Wow. I had mentioned that I hate coffee, as everyone always offered to get coffee, so I like to mention that I don't like it early. I remind him again that I hate coffee, so he takes it away, and all I'm left with is one sad $1 menu chicken burger. While he eats 3 cheeseburger, drinks both coffees, and proceeds to add the wrappers and cups to the ever-growing pile in the back seat. You don't want to loop around the drive-thru and be like, "Oh, I'll get you a Coke or something. Just a water, how about?" What is wrong with you? It's a fucking wild ride. After we get the food, he takes me to a place that's more private, next to the river that goes down the middle of the city that I lived in. But luckily for me, it's still too close to populated places, and I am very well familiar with this location. His car was also too old to have automatic locks, so I knew that I could flee if he tried something. Looking back, he probably thought I'd be smitten by the wonderful car ride around my own goddamn neighborhood. And dinner on wheels. that I would end up jumping into his sweaty hands and making out with him, even though he was probably closer in age to my dad than to me. Catfish Beard points across the river and tells me,
That's where he lives.
in a van down by the river. Oh God, I can't breathe. I'm not even surprised at this point when I ask, didn't you live in X neighborhood, Catfish Beard? At this point, I picked up that the name he gave me is as real as the rest of the info he gave me, but he doesn't need to know that. See, told you so. Catfish Beard.
Well, I'm often in X neighborhood,
Definitely lying.
and I'm thinking of moving there, but I really do live in literally the other end of the city.
Well, I'm pretty done at this point. The toxic body odor fumes were getting to me. Thank goodness I was able to open a window in that corroding car. So I start hinting that I have school tomorrow, and gee, it's so surprising my parents haven't called to check up on me yet. Catfish Beard was caught off guard that I would like to cut this wonderful date short. Catfish Beard?
I was hoping for, some action. You got a $1 chicken burger, now suck my dick.
I'm so dead. The thought of this horrified me. I didn't want to so much as touch this man. Some action was abso-fucking-lutely off the table. OP, sorry, I have a principle that I don't do anything like that on the first date. Catfish Beard was still stalling, and I had to insist to be taken home. Thankfully, a random notification made my phone ding, and I pretended that it was my mother demanding that I get home soon. Catfish Beard relented, luckily, and I didn't have to seek sanctuary in one of the nearby homes that he was blissfully unaware of until he was pulling the car back onto the main road. Catfish Beard took me back to where he found me, and I hastily said bye, as it was obvious that he was hoping for a goodbye kiss. I speed walked around the corner in the opposite direction from my home, as stranger danger bells were auto-installed during the spectacle that I'm reluctant to even call a date. I made it look like I was calling someone so he wouldn't try something. Once he was out of sight, I ran home. Well, ran until my fat butt became out of breath, and then I speed walked the rest of the way. I blocked him while speed walking and proceeded to think how ridiculously dumb I was to even get in the car in the first place. I felt so stupid. I'm usually a blabbermouth, but I didn't tell anyone about this until I was about 24. I felt pretty safe most of the trip since I knew the neighborhood like the back of my hand. I only had a sense of I'm in danger when he took me to that godforsaken place near the river. It was a miracle Catfish Beard didn't force himself onto me in that secluded area. I'm tall, and at the time I was fairly athletic, so I could put up a fight, but what if I was petite? Would he have taken the chance then? What if he took me to a place that I wasn't familiar with? Ugh, I'm very grateful things ended the way that they did. Do not get into strangers' cars, kids. TLDR. Sound words of advice, OP. I think somebody mentioned on the Deadpool beard video that if you're going to a first date, you should always have your own means of transportation. That way you always have an out. You don't have to ask them to take you home or anything. You're just like, well, this date's been a disaster, and get in your car and fucking leave. I honestly think OP is absolutely crazy to get into the car in the first place, but I also understand being 18 and, less experienced with this kind of stuff and oh, maybe we still connect on some level. You lied and said that you liked all the stuff that I like, so maybe we can at least be friends. Nope. Once you lie to me, it's over, basically. That relationship is dead in the water. Even OP knows. She's like, what catfishing has ever became a happy ending? That's absolutely true. I can dig it if it's oh, this is a picture from a few years ago, you gained some weight, stuff like that. But if it's completely a different person, then what the fuck? Sorry, I'm actually waiting for the person that I said that I would go on this date with. I don't know who you are. Please get into your disgusting rust bucket trash pile and drive away. And he's like,
Oh, come on, I'll buy you a dollar menu chicken sandwich.
And I'm like, oh, shit, well, how can I say no to that? Oh, this kills me. I love hearing about dates gone wrong. We should probably do some more things similar to this. It's like dates gone wrong and table-turning beard hunter sagas are my two favorite subgenres at the moment. It's just so good. It's just so good. I hope that you guys enjoyed it, and without any further delay, let us go ahead and jump into the story of Viking Beard. User Mensch on a Bench, welcome back. This is the saga of Viking Beard, my college roommate. And thank you to whoever cross-posted this to my personal subreddit, r/ReddX Reads, because I probably would have missed this one completely. But since it was posted there, people seem to want it, it was upvoted, so let's go ahead and rock it out. Hell yeah. Hello everyone. In December, I wrote the story of Hans, my roommate from Germany. Like I said, German beard videos in the description. That story was very popular here, and so when I remembered another person who would be considered a neckbeard, I decided to make another post. Oh bless, he's true to his word, look at him. This gentleman wasn't fat, and he didn't stink, so I never thought of him as a neckbeard, but looking back, he definitely was. I'm from Germany, and this story takes place when I studied in the United States for 1 semester in college. As I said last time, English is not my first language, so I apologize in advance for any mistakes that I make while writing this. And now, I give to you the story of Viking Beard. It always cracks me up when people are like, oh, English isn't my first language, and they write it better than most people who do have English as their first language. You're punctuating things, most of the stuff is spelled correctly. You're doing great. You're miles ahead. Anyways, Viking Beard was a person that I shared a dorm apartment with when I studied in the United States. We had a dorm apartment with 4 bedrooms, and he and I occupied 2 of them. Viking Beard was obsessed with Vikings and Scandinavia, which is why I call him Viking Beard. His heritage was Norwegian, and he was very proud of this fact. Viking Beard liked to talk about how
his ancestors were Vikings,
which is entirely possible, but he bragged about it as though it made him superior to everyone else. Oh yeah, bro, all of our ancestors were Vikings. I got Norwegian heritage too, but you know what? My ancestors were probably muckrakers. And so were yours. He was tall, maybe 6 feet, and thin. Couldn't have weighed more than 70 kilos, like 155 pounds. See, that's a muckraker build. That's not a Viking build. You gotta be thick. Of course, you don't want to be as thick as me. That's why my ancestors couldn't be Vikings. Too thick. Viking Beard had long blonde hair, and he attempted to grow a massive beard worthy of Odin, the Allfather. What he actually managed to grow was a thin blonde wisp, which was almost invisible except when it was lit from directly behind. It's adorable. Viking Beard always wore t-shirts with strange runes, swords, and axes, wolves howling at the moon. Oh, check out the Wolfbeard video from yesterday. Or other similar drawings. Other than that, there was nothing memorable about his wardrobe or hygiene, except for the fact that he used lots of body spray. In keeping with the Norse theme, his body spray of choice was, of course, Axe. Ah, these OPs are killing me, dude. It's so funny. Viking Beard spent most of his day playing video games, either in his bedroom or in the living room. He was studying business, but I almost never saw him go to class. It was his last year of college, though, so clearly he attended enough class to at least pass. He especially loved fighting games and medieval games. Viking Beard especially loved any games involving Vikings, and he called it
honoring his ancestors.
Yes, Viking Beard, your ancestors must be very proud when they look down from Valhalla and see a lanky goblin sitting in his underwear playing video games and shoving his face full of popcorn. Does it count as dying in battle if you're like in online PvP and you have a heart attack? Oh, I didn't mention that yet, but now's a good time. Viking Beard would eat massive bags of buttered popcorn when he watched TV or movies or played games. As a European, I've never understood America's obsession with buttered popcorn, but even by American standards, it was ridiculous how much popcorn this man ate. He would go to the college grocery store and spend his dining dollars on stacks of microwavable popcorn bags. He would then heat them in the microwave and sit in the living room, pushing great handfuls into his face. This always left his face and hands coated in grease, which he then wiped off on his clothes, or the couch, or his underwear, since that's what he seems to like wearing. I honestly think this is mostly about like how easy it is to cook popcorn. You don't gotta do shit, open the microwave, push some buttons. On the topic of diet, Viking Beard mainly ate fast food from the various restaurants on campus, or pizza from the university cafeteria. He also drank huge amounts of Sprite, typically having 2 to 3 cups of it with every meal. He would go to the cafeteria with a large water bottle and fill it with Sprite, which he then drank throughout the day. I never saw Viking Beard eat a fruit or a vegetable, with the exception of the one time that his mother came to visit. I have no idea how he ate such an unhealthy diet, never exercised, and yet was so skinny. That's just good metabolism, bro. That's gonna fall off in a few years. Give it a decade. Something's gotta give. I love that he's just stealing Sprite from the cafeteria. That's hilarious. Viking Beard definitely considered himself
an alpha male
and frequently performed ridiculous actions to attempt to prove his masculinity. He constantly walked around our apartment shirtless and would subtly contract his muscles to make them appear larger. He also bragged about
how strong he was and how he could beat anyone else in a fight.
This great strength and skill was not the result of exercise or training, though. He was just blessed with it by Thor. Viking Beard later got beaten up as a result of trying to act like a tough alpha male, but I'll discuss that more later. Ooh, looking forward to that. I bet I could kick this kid's ass. I'm not even that tough, but I'll put money on it. Always bet on yourself, dog. Viking Beard went hunting once, with his uncle once, and he talked about it constantly. He would say,
"A real man kills his own food,"
and
"My ancestors would be very proud of me."
He did hunt down those popcorn bags all by himself, though. The background on Viking Beard's phone was a picture of him in the finest Walmart camouflage clothing, holding the antler of a dead deer in one hand and his uncle's rifle in the other. I later learned that he didn't even shoot that deer. His uncle did. Viking Beard just took a picture with the dead deer and bragged about it constantly. Oh, my face hurts. At one point, Viking Beard got 2 drinking horns
and challenged me and our other roommates to a classic Norse drinking contest.
It was, of course, a further attempt to assert his dominance, I suppose. I agreed because I thought it might be fun. You gonna try and outdrink a German? I don't know, bro. What would we be drinking, you might ask? We would be drinking Bud Light. As a German, I love beer, but when I think of beer, I think of dark beers that are popular in Germany. In my opinion, something like Bud Light tastes like carbonated urine. I still agree, though, because I refuse to let an American drink more beer than me. Go get him, OP. I do like light beers. I enjoy a Heineken every now and then. These days, I mostly drink Red Horse because Philippines. It's really good, though. And like half a liter of beer for 70 cents or something? How can you lose? Viking Beard filled the horns with beer and handed me one. He then lifted his horn to his mouth and began drinking from it, getting about as much on his shirt as he did in his mouth. He finished one horn and drank about half of the second before he suddenly paused, bent over, and vomited on the floor. It's pathetic. It appears that I had won our drinking contest. To be clear, the horns held maybe 500 ml, like 16 ounces of liquid, and Vikingbeard had drunk 1.5 horns. He got a good amount on his shirt, so probably only 500 ml actually went down his throat. Vikingbeard angrily said,
What? How did you win?
Before walking back to his room and loudly closing the door, leaving his beer vomit on the floor. Oh, what a mess. I love it. Vikingbeard, of course, loved to watch the TV show Vikings in our living room. But when I say love to watch the show, what I actually mean is that he loved lusting for the female characters and yelling encouragement during fight scenes. Complete with waving imaginary weapons in the air. He had no interest in the show's story. All he wanted was the women and the fights. Vikingbeard had a particular interest in the main character's wife, Lagertha, and the actress who played her, Catherine Winnick. Vikingbeard would say, and I hope I can repeat his quotes correctly,
I want to make her choke on my cock.
and
I want to shoot my load up her ass.
Classy. Along with other things that my English vocabulary wasn't broad enough to fully understand, but I'm sure they were equally vulgar. Vikingbeard also loved Marvel movies, and his favorite character, one guess, of course, it was Thor. Vikingbeard sometimes talked about
how much he looked like Thor.
And maybe he did, if Vikingbeard gained like 30 kilos of muscles and managed to grow a real beard and deepened his voice an octave, that is. You're almost there, buddy. Vikingbeard watched Marvel movies for the same reasons that he watched the Vikings TV show. He loved the fight scenes and lusting for the female characters. This time, his love interest, or should I say sexual interest, was Black Widow, played by Scarlett Johansson. He didn't constantly make sexual remarks about her, but he did put down his popcorn and stare intensely at the TV with his mouth hanging open whenever there's a scene with her in it. I mean, to be fair, at least he's not drooling over Captain Marvel, but let's be honest with each other. You know, Scarlet Witch is top tier. Any good neckbeard harasses women to date him. And Vikingbeard was no different. He constantly fantasized about
his Viking princess.
Vikingbeard's
lady of choice
was Anna, one of my fellow exchange students from Germany. I didn't know her all that well, but we talked sometimes. She said that I was what roughly translates from German as her retreat from American fuckboys. Anna wasn't exactly a Viking princess like Vikingbeard had dreamed about, but she was pretty, and she was from a place that was vaguely near where Vikings lived. And I suppose that was close enough for him. I will admit that I'm partially to blame here, because the reason Vikingbeard even met Anna is that I introduced her to him. Whoopsie. He saw me talking to her one day, and later that day he asked me to introduce him to her. I agreed, not realizing the results of my actions. Hindsight's always 20/20, bro. One day Anna came to our apartment to visit me, and she met Vikingbeard. Vikingbeard greeted her with an enthusiastic handshake while grinning like an idiot. It might be relevant to add that in Germany, smiling at strangers simply isn't something people do. If you smile at strangers, it makes you look either extremely flirtatious or mentally insane. And Vikingbeard was certainly one, if not both, of these things. I believe the slang term is simp. I'm sorry if I'm not using the term correctly, but Vikingbeard became a massive simp for Anna. Despite her repeatedly saying no, he kept trying to give her flowers, chocolate, and similar things to make her like him. That's a simp, all right. This went on for a month or so, but things got more interesting when Anna got a boyfriend. And no, it wasn't Vikingbeard, thank God. Anna's boyfriend was a gentleman named Chris, who I heard about but never actually met. I'm not sure of the exact details of what I'm about to describe because Anna refused to talk about it, and I don't trust Vikingbeard's version of the events. Essentially though, Vikingbeard kept flirting with Anna while Chris was there. Vikingbeard and Chris got into an argument, and to prove his masculinity, Vikingbeard tried to attack Chris. This did not go well. And Chris punched Vikingbeard in the face breaking several of his teeth. Sounds like Chris was a double plus alpha male. Viking Beard was very angry after this, I assume because a lesser male had not only stolen his lady, but then beaten him in a fight for her honor. Wrecked, fucking wrecked. You love to hear it. I only lived in America for 1 semester though. At the end of December, I went back to Germany, leaving Viking Beard with his popcorn, Sprite, drinking horns, and lusty comments behind. I never talked with Viking Beard after I left, but I do keep in touch with our 2 other roommates. They said that Viking Beard graduated with a 2.4 GPA and was unable to find a job in his field, so he worked at Best Buy. This was several years ago though, so maybe by now he's gotten a better job. Thanks for reading my story, and I hope you found it entertaining. God. You never fail to slay me. It's a great tale about a neckbeard who doesn't necessarily check all of the boxes, like being smelly and obese, but he definitely checks some of the boxes like 2 or 3 times. I do feel kind of bad that he had to work at Best Buy, but that's more a statement about like college as a whole, you know? It's not like I feel bad for Viking Beard directly, especially when you picked a business degree, bro. Like a business degree, okay, it can be a very strong thing to add to your repertoire, but you're gonna need to like make your own job, basically. At least from my limited understanding. Put together a portfolio, you know, get the brainwave going, find some investors. If you're good at business, it could be very lucrative. If you're not so bright, not so good at business, then you're gonna end up working a job that you didn't even need to go to college for, and now you're under a mountain of debt as well. I am glad that Viking Beard got his teeth smashed out by Chris. Chris is a G, bro. He's not gonna put up with that shit. Quit talking to my lady. I'm gonna talk to your lady if you want. I'm gonna attack you. All right, bro. Then you pay the price, you know? It does make me slightly nervous, like how easily people get their teeth smashed out in these stories, though. Like, I've been punched in the mouth a lot, and I've never lost a tooth. So, is it like a oral hygiene thing, or is it just like a matter of time, or I haven't been punched in the right way? Either way, I'm trying to avoid getting punched in the mouth, like, as a matter of principle. Because, yeah, once you lose all your teeth, you can't be an alpha in the pack anymore. Then you drop even below the betas and the charlies and the deltas. You're like an Omega Man. He just has to eat applesauce through a tube or some shit like that. Or maybe he eats applesauce from a drinking horn. The drinking contest. Oh, bro. I would never challenge a German to a drinking contest. 1, I don't really give that much of a shit about masculinity. I'm not here to get like super fucked up. I just want to be buzzing. You know what I mean? And 2, yeah, I'm probably never going to drink more than a German. Most Filipino dudes out here will outdrink me, even though I'm like twice their size. I just don't drink that much, and I'm okay with saying that. Oh, I just love the pathos in these stories. It's like base your entire personality around something that your ancestors might have been, but probably weren't. It's like if an Irish guy was like, I'm gonna RP a potato farmer all the time. Get over it, bro. Form your own identity that isn't like hundreds of years old. Please, for the love of God. I would make the case that that's even more pathetic than calling yourself something like, oh, a YouTuber or a gamer. Am I on YouTube a lot? Do I play a lot of video games? Yes, but I'm neither a YouTuber or a gamer. I don't fit into your little boxes, all right? I like what I like, but I don't make it my personality. But like OP said, this was like several years ago, so hopefully he's realized that he'll never be a Viking and just given up on it. Because if he's pushing through his 30s with this mindset, bruh, I don't even know where to start. That is a terrifying thought. There is a big reason why I don't work in customer service. I ain't got the personality for that.
What you want?
What do you recommend?
Menu.
My first Neckbeard experience. Hello, all you lovely people. It is I, Strawberry Belle, and I am back once again to tell you all another story from my vault of Cosplay Chronicles. The branding's on point. This story is more awkward than it is like overtly creepy, so hopefully it'll be a nice break from the dastardly tales of others' misfortunes. We'll get into those. I just want to ease you guys in, you know? While still being neckbeardy enough to satisfy your palate. It's so rich and buttery. I love the taste. Small disclaimer, I'm on mobile again, so formatting may be off. And now, the cast list. Little Belle, the younger version of me, your OP of the evening. Mama Belle, my lovely mother. And Flutterbeard, the neckbeard who would become the origin of all the Cosplay Chronicle stories, as he was the first beardo that I had met. Unfortunate. Long ago, in the year of 2014, a 12-year-old little Belle was getting ready to go to her first convention. It was a tiny local convention, but the young Miss Belle did not care. She stowed away her 3DS alongside her games, her Pokemon cards, and her little wallet, lovingly placed them into her bag the night before, and barely managed to sleep because she was so overcome with excitement. Little Belle woke up bright and early the next day, and piece by piece, put on her cosplay of the character Spitfire from My Little Pony, the yellow-coated Pegasus with a fiery orange mane, who was the leader of Equestria's elite flying team known as the Wonderbolts. We getting some deep My Little Pony lore. I don't know any of this. Once Little Belle had finished putting on her blue shirt with a strip of yellow fabric taped to the front, foam Wonderbolt pin, small yellow pony ears, goggles, and little lightning bolts on her cheeks, she was ready. Note the absence of a flame-colored wig. That will become important. Mama Belle had advised that Little Belle wait to tie her yellow pony wings onto her back for when they actually arrived at the convention center, so they wouldn't get bent during the car ride. And off they went. Once they arrived, Mama Belle helped Little Belle tie on her wings, and she was ready for cringe. The family split up, and Under, who was Belle's little brother, and their dad went to a different area of the con, while Mama Belle and Little Belle toured through the vendors hall. Little Belle had a blast taking pictures of other cosplayers, talking with vendors, and making new friends. After making a few loops around the hall, she heard an unfamiliar voice from behind her.
Fluttershy!
The voice bellowed, followed by two large arms engulfing the small girl in a hug from behind. Oh, look but don't touch, please. I'll give Flutterbeard the benefit of the doubt when it comes to the mix-up on the characters. For the uninitiated, Fluttershy is also a yellow-colored Pegasus, and since I didn't have a wig, if you had seen me from behind, it's understandable how one might be confused. This does not, however, excuse hugging someone out of nowhere without consent or warning, regardless of the recipient's age, but particularly when the recipient is 12. Come on, Belle, you said it wasn't going to be overtly creepy. I'm getting a little creeped out already. Flutterbeard released Little Belle from his grasp, and she turned around to look up at the culprit. She was met with a tall, rotund fellow, likely in his early 20s, with long copper-colored locks tied in a low ponytail, a shaggy neckbeard, glasses, fingerless gloves, and a white Deadpool shirt that was coated in stains, and he was grinning ear to ear. The perfect picture of a beard. If you thought 16-year-old Belle was naive, 12-year-old Little Belle was even more so. She didn't realize that what had just occurred was, in fact, not okay. She simply smiled back up at the man and said, "Actually, I'm Spitfire," in the telltale cheery tone that always laced her voice at the time. Flutterbeard wasn't deterred by this, however, and responded with,
"Yeah, still awesome."
And the two began to have a discussion about their beloved children's TV show. While Mama Belle kept a close watch from a small distance as not to ruin her daughter's fun, but still ensure that no real harm came to her. Oh, your mother is an angel. I mean, I probably wouldn't even let my 12-year-old talk to a 20-year-old. I'd be like, get the hell out of here. And my daughter would say, "But Dad, I'm having fun." And I'd be like, have fun with someone your own age. This is not appropriate. Soon enough, Under and our dad had finished their business and met back up with our duo, and Little Belle and Flutterbeard parted ways, never to see each other again. Until later on in 2020, when she found him working at a local TJ Maxx. No interactions were made, but I'd recognize that face even from behind a mask. And that's it. Sorry for all the unnecessary flavor text, but I felt as if it added to the experience, as the main part of the story wasn't too long. I have some really good stories coming soon though, so I hope you stay tuned for the next Cosplay Chronicle! In the meantime, remember to drink some water, get some rest, and do a little something for yourself. Once again, if you ever want to chat, you can find me at twitch.tv/strawberrybell or on the ReddX Discord server. She is in fact a moderator there. See you next time. Oh, I always appreciate the Cosplay Chronicles bell. You go right into the heart of the Neckbeard den and essentially beard bait yourself, although probably inadvertently, and then you bring the tails back. It takes a brave person to do what you do, and we are definitely grateful for it. I'm glad your parents were with you and that this did not escalate beyond just like a passing exchange, you know? He could have been like, ugh,
What's your phone number?
and then that's probably when mom would have stepped in and kicked him in the dick. And everybody would have clapped. It's kind of sad he's working at a TJ Maxx, you know? 8 years later, almost pushing into your 30s and you're working at the TJ Maxx, bruh. Not to throw shade or anything, but you should be like aiming a little bit higher at that point, I should think. But I ain't trying to attack TJ Maxx employees. He's working. He's keeping his bills paid. Hopefully, in this span of time, he has also learned that it's not okay to physically assault people. And that's what that is, you know? Hugging someone who didn't give you consent, even if you didn't know that they were 12, they could be your same age, and it's still physical assault. It's not okay. But I have to be grateful that that is where it ended. Anyways, let us get into the next story and see what we are working with. Neckbeard takes a pit stop from getting mugged to flex for
Milady.
Hold on, stop mugging me for a minute, milady.
I swear I'm an alpha. I would have kicked that guy's ass.
And she's like, you might want to wait till the mugging's actually over. I've already got the story written in my head from seeing the title. Let's see what it actually says. Hello, folks. I've been a fan of the Legbeard and Neckbeard horror stories ever since I discovered ReddX, but I never had any personal experiences with the breed until last Halloween, that is. Unfortunately, this isn't going to be a super cringeworthy or rage-inducing tale. It's actually a little sad, but that's all up to you. For this story, there are 3 other people involved besides myself. So we got me, Das OP, coworker Emily, Neckbeard, Fambeard. It'll make sense. Please don't tell me the Neckbeards are reproducing. That's the scariest thing of all. I work at a small convenience store in a pretty bad town. Shoplifting is an everyday battle, and drugs swept through this town a long time ago, killing any kind of positive community vibe that the place used to share. Sad. Going out at night is a terrible idea, and you have to be careful who you talk to. However, sometimes the town has an event or two that likely comes from elsewhere and brings the community together. Ever since the virus. It seems like the town has thrown a few pitiful attempts to lift morale, and to my surprise, one actually worked. On Halloween night this past year, I elected to work a double shift so my coworkers could go trick-or-treating with their kids or host a party or whatever. Also, I take immense joy in the countless kids that run in for drinks and snacks because they couldn't be happier to be out for a night of spooky fun. Trick-or-treat is a coup. We don't do that in the Philippines. That makes me sad. It's moments like that which make you feel a little bit of hope for this impoverished community. I couldn't count the amount of ninjas and generic brand Jason Voorhees costumes I saw that night, all of which came from the small convenience store that I worked at. However, even with the cheap plastic and even cheaper fabric, a complete costume was like no more than $5 to $8, if that says anything. They were as happy as if you'd bought them the world. That being said, these costumes were put to good use. I gave some candy out when I could, and the town was holding a small costume contest which followed a fireworks show once it was dark. Killer. The fireworks went on for a while and looked great from where I stood, and once they finished, I returned to my tasks. Not much long after, some more people came in, which I promptly rang up. In this group of people was Fambeard. I kept ringing up customers for a while before I noticed Fanbeard had been standing in the same spot for several minutes. Once I finished, I looked up and addressed him. He was a heavier guy, maybe like 250 to 300 pounds. He wore glasses, had short hair, and wore a gray shirt with blue shorts on. "Hey man, what can I help you with?" I asked. He then came closer to the counter and told me in a very hushed voice,
Hey, I was wondering if I could stay here for a few minutes, if that's okay."
Of course I said he could, and I just assumed that it was because it was chilly outside, so that's how I responded. "Sure, it's pretty cold out there, man." Of course, he was wearing less than the others in the cold weather, so that made sense to me, until he spoke up again.
"No, I was followed. Someone tried to mug me."
You look like such a wealthy gentleman. Now, I should mention that it is important that you know exactly what kind of town this is. There have been several murders, suicides, ODs, and muggings. I don't stay around the town much, so I never have to worry about that. I'm also not the smallest guy in the world, so I can handle myself. However, this guy, to put it in the nicest way I can, was an easy target. Overweight, slow, and nervous. I have lived here my whole life, and I've never seen this kid before, so he must not leave home much. When he told me that, I instantly stepped outside to see if his attacker was in the parking lot or maybe near the gas station up the road. However, I didn't see anything. I came back in and asked him exactly what had happened, and if he could describe the people that he was talking about. Almost everyone in the town came to the store, so I knew I could place an identity on the description.
"Well, it was two of them. A guy with glasses and a woman. Not much hair."
The woman?
They kept getting closer while I was walking down here from the festival, and I started running until I reached a street light, and that's when they turned around and walked away. That was scary, man.
So it's not possible that, they were just walking in the same direction away from the festival? It's weird that they turned around. They were probably vampires. Just thank your lucky stars that they weren't a couple of Mothmen, huh? Man, I would suck at customer service. I could see how much it bothered him, and I promised him if I saw either one, I'd call the police for him, as I did know who he was talking about based on their hangout spot/description. He thanked me and started walking around the front, looking for a drink. That's when Emily came to the front. She'd been stocking the shelves and came up so I could take lunch. As soon as he laid eyes on her, I watched his demeanor go from a scared, socially awkward guy to a hulking beast of bravery and brawn. Kinda surprised he has that in him. But it's all a facade. He's a paper tiger, obviously. I lean my romantic preferences towards men, but Emily is a very attractive person. So I supposed he'd noticed and gained a sudden bonus in charisma because that story sounded way different when he recited it to her once I went on break and started playing around with my phone behind the counter. He brought a drink up and placed it on the counter with a strange swagger.
"Hey, I asked the guy if I could stick around for a bit. Had some crackhead punks trying to follow me. They better stay a good ways away. I don't call the cops. I call family."
I physically cringed. Emily just blinked and smiles as she always did before clearing her throat and replying, "Oh no, that's awful. Are you okay?" He grinned and nodded.
"Yeah, I walked to the light, and I guess they saw my knife on my side and decided it was a bad idea to mess with someone like me." "Like I said, I won't call the cops. I'll call family."
This is super cringy. At this point, I knew that I had run into a neckbeard, but thankfully not in the way that most others have. I inwardly laughed, as his knife was deep in the pocket of his shorts, so they couldn't have seen it. Emily nodded awkwardly and went out for a smoke, leaving Fanbeard inside with me. As soon as she left, His chest sunk back in and he slumped back to normal. He was scared again. He informed me that
he planned to walk home, which was the opposite way he'd come so he wouldn't run into him again.
from what he said, he lived almost in eyeshot of the store. Now that he planned to leave, he was visibly shaking. This encounter had seriously frightened him, and I think he did fear for his life. I tried to reassure him that he'd be okay, and if he needed me to, I could call an officer to the store and have him driven home. He looked up to me with actual tears welling up in his eyes, and looked like he was about to accept before Emily ducked out her cigarette and came back in the store. He tried to power up again, but sounded pretty defeated now.
But my family doesn't call the police, we call family.
Her and I spent about 10 minutes reassuring him and hyping him up after that. With that, Fambeard opened the door and we stepped outside. When I was sure Emily couldn't hear us, I reassured him that I'd stand outside and watch him from the store to make sure that he made it up the street safely. He was almost crying when I said that, and just nodded before muttering a sincere,
Thank you so much, man.
And off he went. He made it safely, and I never saw him again. I figure he was petrified enough of the situation that brought him to me, so whatever. I let him puff out his chest and feel like a big man. Emily agreed once we discussed what had happened. Normally, she shuts anyone down that she thinks is even remotely flirting, but she understood what was happening. Both her and I wanted him to feel confident enough to make that walk home in the dark, and if that meant letting him flex a little bit in front of us, mainly Emily, then we'd let him. I hope he's more confident and doesn't use that calling family line anymore. That one makes me cringe to this day. TLDR, Neckbeard runs from a mugging, takes a break to flex in front of a female coworker, and I reassure him that he will be okay. Hope you guys enjoyed. I know it isn't a conventional story, maybe it doesn't make much sense, but I wasn't out to deflate him because I understand getting followed at night is terrifying, and maybe he was just trying to save face while gassing up. Either way, thanks for reading. So my two main criteria for beard status have been met. We've got the overinflated ego and the sense of entitlement. Obviously, he didn't want his ego to get bruised
Around a pretty milady.
so he kind of put on airs and he's like,
Yeah, I'm a big tough guy.
that's why I call my family. And then I just imagine like 3 8-year-old kids and a wife running out in the street. He probably meant like, you know, country cousins and whatnot. But yeah, if you're honestly scared, the gender of the clerk at the counter probably shouldn't come into effect. You'd just be like, hey, I almost got mugged. Shit was scary. But you know, ego's a crazy thing, man. Tries to protect us from ourselves. It's always like, ooh, pretty lady, I can't tell her what's actually going on. When obviously she knows. Women always know. Don't try to pull the wool over their eyes. From the way the OP tells it, like this guy, okay, he could have been in some serious danger, you know. You probably don't want to get followed in the night in the city like this. Philippines is kind of Wild West. I've been followed a couple of times and I just stop. Stop, grab my weapon and stand there and wait for them to pass. And you know how many times I've been mugged? 0. Though I suppose if it's 2 or 3 people following you, then you get exponentially more nervous. But to me, it really does sound like they were just going home from the party. You think they wouldn't have robbed you just because you're standing under a street light? If they want that money, they're going to get that money, dude. But OP and his coworker seem like a quality guy, you know. They're like, he seems scared. It's real enough to him, so yeah, let him hang out, gas himself up, whatever. So good on you, dude. I definitely think that was the correct way to handle the situation. There is a big, big reason why I don't work in customer service. I ain't got the personality for that. Thank you for sharing, OP. I definitely enjoyed it. We've been cranking up the creepiness factor slowly, and I guess we will see what we're into when we get into this last story right now. Barbeard tries to take me and my boyfriend home. Hey, twofer. Hey, first time posting, and all around brand new to Reddit. Well, welcome to it. Apologies for any formatting or other faux pas that I most definitely will make. Feedback is always welcome. The illustrious ReddX has asked for more beardy tales, and I, as an eager listener, shall provide. Oh, thank you so much. This one will be relatively short, but it still makes me laugh thinking back on it. Hope you enjoy. Names will of course be changed for privacy. The cast: me, OP, a very tall, curvy lady with pixie cut hair and a love for punk/gothic fashion. My boyfriend, James. Christopher Hive Juice, the gentleman who played Tormund in Game of Thrones. Yeah, his doppelganger. Except his hair is an even longer, wilder mane. He too rocks alternative clothes and jewelry. And of course, Barbeard. Though lacking the traditional aroma and fedora of the classic beard, he ticked many other boxes in appearance: stringy greasy hair, unkempt patchy beard, an unfortunate distribution of fat directly in his gut, leaving his arms and legs twig skinny, and he was wearing pajama pants to boot.
I'm gonna wear my pajama pants to the bar.
Oh, that's unfortunate. And now, on to the tale. At the time, my boyfriend and I lived in an apartment within walking distance of a local bar, so many a Saturday night, and many a paycheck, was spent in this watering hole. This was one such night, and prior to going out, we had both gotten dressed in our gothic best. Given that we enjoyed dressing up, we're used to getting looks, but neither of us were prepared for the leering gaze of Barbeard. I'd noticed him offhand entering the bar with a bigger group of people, all of whom seemed completely normal. Though he was clearly a part of this group, he seemed to spend most of the evening sitting alone, staring at his phone, until James noticed him staring at me. OP, what's up, hon? James, that guy keeps looking at you whenever you bend over the pool table. OP, let him look. You're the only one who gets to touch. James, damn straight. I'd still go over there and fuck with him just for looking, though. I'm not gonna punch you, but I am gonna ask you what the fuck you're looking at. I take my shot and I miss, so it's James's turn. As he goes to take aim, I move to the other side of the table and see Barbeard clearly eyeing up not me, but my boyfriend. OP, are you sure he was looking at me? James, definitely. He wasn't being subtle. Why? OP, because he's for sure looking at you now. James, no way. OP, I'm serious, babe. He's ogling you like a piece of meat. James, okay. That's weird. Yeah, just a little. We took a few more turns before finishing the game. James won, and then started another round, as well as having several more rounds of drinks, when suddenly the beard made his approach. Barbeard,
Hi.
James, hey, did you or your friends, want to play some pool? Barbeard,
No, I just wanted to say that you two look very interesting. Are you a couple?
OP, yep, kissing James on the cheek for emphasis. Barbeard,
Oh, well, that's nice. That's nice. Do you guys like, adding other people into the mix? If you know what I mean.
James, no, we're exclusive to each other. Barbeard,
Oh, well, that's a shame. You two seem cool. Bye.
and off he went, back to ignoring his friends. Back to ignoring the people he came in with. With the confirmation that we would in fact not be going home with him for nighttime adult activities, he refrained from staring at us for the rest of the evening. And when James and I drunkenly stumbled back home, I giggled, did that neckbeard really try to pick us up? James, yeah, he did, baby. Yeah, he did. TLDR, a neckbeard tried and failed to make swingers out of me and my boyfriend. It might have worked if he was more attractive. Ego check, entitlement check, plus greasy. I know he wasn't hugging an anime body pillow, okay? But that's not what makes somebody a neckbeard. It's the beard on the inside that counts. And obviously he's got like a way overinflated sense of self if he's gonna walk up to two strangers and be like,
Hey, do you guys both want to bang me? Or maybe I could just bang both of you. Either way.
either way, no. Either way, please leave us alone. Oh, God. It's so interesting that he came in with a group of people and just, like, ended up talking to no one. I guarantee you he has tried to bang every person in that group and just made it awkward. So he goes to the bar with them still to, like, keep up social appearances and stuff, but spends most of his time scrolling on Twitter. I was gonna say Facebook, but let's be honest, Barbeard seems more like a Twitter kind of guy. John, you are the Neckbeards.
No, John. You are the demons.
Neckbeard Wars! A ghost story. Ooh, spooky maybe. As usual, I haven't really vetted it. I just kind of made sure that it was legible. And I'm like, okay, let's dive on into it. Hey, I've been listening to all these videos every day while going to work, and it always makes my day shiny. Bright and shiny. Currently writing on mobile, and English is not my mother language, so I apologize for the inconvenience and potential mistakes. Don't worry about them potential mistakes. I'm gonna try and reword it, as I tend to do, if it doesn't come off right. I'm here to tell you the tale about the time that I was surrounded by neckbeards, but I was surrounded for one simple reason. I was, and still am one, in a way. Ah! John, you are the Neckbeards. Before getting to the main story, I need to give some background information. It's going to be a long backstory, but I think it's necessary to understand how I became that person. Well, if it's Neckbeard related, tell me all about it, OP. I come from quite a humble family with not that much money. Therefore, my parents used to work quite a bit and didn't really have the time to take care of us. But I mean, I can't really blame them because they were working to pay the bills. That's part of it. Then, war came to our home country, and we fled the country that me and my siblings had been raised in. War never changes. They didn't speak the local language, and they struggled financially as they had to basically start over from zero again. My mom used to work in a biscuit factory back then, and could provide us with as many salty, dried biscuits as we could possibly want. Since we had no money, these and dried cup of noodles became our main food every day for years until things finally got better. Damn, this is rough already, dude. I hope you're doing better now. I hope your whole family's doing better now. I mean, obviously they don't want to live in the middle of a war, so it's good that they fled, but oh boy, that is something that I hope never to have to experience. We lived in a very poor neighborhood, so it was quite common to see cockroaches everywhere. My brother stopped his studies in order to get a job and get money to feed us and provide more food for the family. He is my role model. He spent like 90% of his salary paying bills and 10% entertaining us. At the time, he bought some mangas and a Super Nintendo! Oh my god, the SMS! This was the beginning of my love for mangas, video games, and anime. At that time, everyone knows in the late 80s that loving manga, card games, and comics made you a geek. I mean, like in a bad way. Or at least an awkward guy that most people don't want to be around. I kept watching my brother play games, and we both started learning Japanese and English this way. I was maybe 6 or 7 at the time. As my diet was not really good, I started to become a bit fat. And of course, being of Asian descent, I got bullied at school.
Because surely I was practicing martial arts, just like Bruce Lee, right? And all Asian dudes have a small dick. Everyone knows that.
And I was hearing this kind of shit every day, and teachers also used to make fun of my name because it's not easy to pronounce. Even the teachers, bro? I mean, it was the 80s. Basically, everybody was on cocaine anyways. That's no excuse, but it is a reason. The other school kids used to make me fight with other kids. I don't know, like kid stuff. I guess just because they were lacking hobbies. At some point, the guy that I was put into a fight with got fed up and started bullying the other kids that made us fight, and I became friends with that bully kid. We spent the following years during junior high school spending like all of our free time watching anime, mangas, and playing Magic the Gathering, D&D, and video games. Yeah, dude, bro out. Everybody needs a friend. Just one. One really good friend. I'm not gonna lie. These were absolutely gorgeous years for me. Even though the other students told us that we were garbage or awkward or whatever, we didn't really give a shit. It was awesome playing Magic during recess. We spent so much quality time playing GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, and Smash Bros back then at my friend's place. Whoa, we just jumped forward like 15, 20 fucking years. I thought this was from the 80s, and now we're talking about Smash Brothers? Bro. Don't do that shit to me, OP. Don't do that. So now I guess we're in like the late 90s, early 2000s era, which makes a little bit less sense that everybody's being racist to this kid at school. In the 80s, okay, maybe, sure, I would have bought it because I wasn't around to see that shit for the most part. But late 90s, early 2000s, I don't remember seeing anything like this.
You're fucking a white male!
But there I go, off on a fucking tangent. All right. Back to the story. As mentioned before, my house was filled with cockroaches, but I didn't really know that cockroaches were that bad. I mean, they were here before us, right? And one day, a cockroach came out of my backpack. One girl saw it, and then I was nicknamed the Cockroach Guy. Ew! And my group got bullied a bit more, but we didn't really care about our image anymore. My brother used his savings to send me to some martial arts classes so I could get ready to retaliate against bullies in the future. My family's economy did get better about this time, and we were able to eat normal food later on, as well as taking care of our cockroach issue. I want to point out that I was indeed fat. Maybe not because I was eating too much, but because I wasn't eating the right stuff. Dried biscuits, noodles, and fried chicken were not the healthiest options. It's a lot of carbs, bruh. Every time I got rejected or bullied, I was eating more dried biscuits to try and fill the giant hole in my heart where love should have gone, which of course only made me even fatter. That's a vicious cycle, OP. I'm glad your family's moving up, but yeah, you gotta move up with them, you know what I mean? I started getting into shape during high school. He knows what I mean. Look at him. Look, he's getting into shape. Got some muscles, grew way taller, no more bullying. I changed my image and became a goth. Ugh. Stupid, I know, but still, no regrets. I grew a ponytail as well, and of course, I wore a fedora. Oh, I bet you looked so dashing. High school was great, and I don't really know why my image was getting better, but I guess that doesn't matter. At the end of the day, I got friends from all types of group. The rap kids, goths, rich kids, etc. I was a virgin, and I didn't tell any of my friends this because they didn't ask. And because with the look that I was rocking at the time, I thought it was pretty obvious. No, you thought it was cool, OP. That's why you wore it, right? Come on. Just to let you know, I had not even kissed a girl. But people were always coming to me to confess their problems and ask for advice about dating. The story I remember the most is when one friend, really popular, and a neckbeard on the inside. He was a total geek, but enjoyed sports and became quite good at basketball after junior high school. It is the beard on the inside that counts, but I mean, if he's really popular, he can't be like that terrible of a person, could he? I don't know. I can't pass my judgment given one sentence of information. Anyways, this kid comes up to me and he asks me, "Oh my God, OP, man, this girl. And she asked me out. She wants to go to the movies. Like, what should I do? Her name is Sandy. Wow, John Travolta." I'll call this girl JG for jealous girl. Not because she was jealous, but because I was jealous. And this was actually a girl that I wanted to date. Did you sabotage him, OP? Inside, I was friggin' jealous, but so happy for my friend. Did you sabotage him? Just to let you know, again, I have zero experience. I was barely able to talk to girls as I was extremely shy inside and basically just showed a confident face on the outside. All the experience that I know is from manga and movies such as Pretty Woman or Love Actually. These kinds of movies. Romance movies. And I still love them to this day. Hell yeah, dude. I cry at The Notebook. I'm not ashamed to say so. But did you sabotage him though? Let's get to the root of the issue. I gave my friend what I like to consider good advice. Aw, see? OP's a nice guy. And I told him, get to the movies, and during the movie, look into her eyes. But not in a creepy way, please. And if she maintains eye contact, get your face closer to hers and try to kiss her. If she deflects and turns her cheek towards you, well, bro, you know what that means. And he replied, damn, OP, your advices make so much sense. Thanks, bro. He thanked me, and a few days later he came back and told me it was a hit. They became a couple. Damn, OP, your advices are always so good. You probably kissed like so many girls, bro. I wish I had your experience. I didn't want to ruin his enthusiasm, so I just replied, well, you know me, bro. Or do you? He should have known that I was spending most of my free time playing Dungeons and Dragons, watching animes and manga and comics, so I don't know what made him think that I was some sort of ladies' man, but hey, I ain't gonna correct him. In the end, high school did make me a better person. I was still a neckbeard since I didn't really know how to communicate with girls I was into. I didn't have any problem communicating with girls that I wasn't attracted to, but when I met girls I really liked, it was just showing the worst of me, and things got really cringy. So that's the first part of this story. I know it was a long background story, but I needed to clarify in order to introduce you to the main dish, which will be the ghost beard that I met at university. I hope my writing was okay, and I'll submit the next part ASAP. Hope you enjoyed the story so far. You are an interesting case, OP, because you're basically only a neckbeard on the outside. If you were a true neckbeard to the core, you would have sabotaged your friend on that date. You would have tried to swoop in, take that girl from him, blah, blah, blah. But nah, you did the right thing. You're like, okay, bros before hoes. Let me share this advice that I got from a movie with you. Which, if it works, I guess whatever. We were all awkward little kids at one time, but I do appreciate, you know, sharing your story of the blossoming, the coming of age. And it seems like you were really able to find yourself in high school, you know, brush off judgment from other people, which is always admirable. They're like, ooh, what are you playing, Magic? You're a nerd. Whatever, bro. I like Magic. Sue me. So yeah, overall, I think OP is a pretty cool dude. I am curious as to his judgment on this other neckbeard, the neckbeardiest of neckbeards, aka Ghostbeard. So I guess we'll go ahead and just jump into the second part and see how it goes right now. Neckbeard Wars Part 2! The Phantom Menace! No, wait, that's wrong. Alright, whatever. Let's do the second part and the main dish. A few new characters do need to be introduced. EF for Elf Friend, since he looked like an elf and had really long hair. One of my best buddies to this day and awesomely smart. He managed to get into university 4 years early. That is pretty crazy. Everybody's like, yeah, I got my 4-year degree. I'm 22. He's like, cool, I'm 18. I got it already. And they still won't hire you because you don't have the experience. God damn it. This isn't going to be a tangent about the school system. Here we go. GF is Goth Friend because he had long hair and was dressed with a long black coat and Doc Martens. He was awesome and smart as well. GG, Goth Girl. One girl that really changed my life and had to deal with the main story. And Ghostbeard. Well, you'll learn about him pretty soon. That is quite an entrance. I don't have the words, just watch. I entered university 1 year later than most other people. After graduating from high school, I still didn't know what to do, so I just worked here and there without knowing so much what I actually wanted to do. Nobody actually knows what they want to do after high school. That's why I went into the Navy, man. You just move in a direction, and as long as you're moving forward, they're all pretty good directions. Just, you know, keep on keeping on. After that year, however, I finally decided that I wanted to go to university and learn Japanese, of course. To give you some information about university students who are studying Japanese, it is just a nest of neckbeards. That relates to yesterday's video. And I include myself in that statement, with all kinds of people having motivation to work in the country of the rising sun. Some worked really hard and studied well and achieved their dreams. Others were just here
Because they're foreigners, so it'll be totally easy to find a Japanese girl. Japanese girls like white meat. With our big dicks and foreign looks, it'll be as easy as breaking an egg. High five, bro.
So yeah, there were obviously this kind of guy in there as well. Guys and girls, I mean. The Neckbeard package is indeed included. Needless to say, many classes had a strange smell. Winter was horrible, as we were not allowed to open the windows. I guess it's more than a strange smell. It's an overwhelming smell that makes me want to stab my brainstem. Our teachers told us,
First year students, you are 1,000. By the end of the first semester, you will only be 400.
and they were right. I totally fucked up my first year and had to restart everything all over again. University was nothing like high school. True. You learn what you're willing to learn. If you skip classes, whatever, it's your choice. I have to tell you that in the country I live, public university is way cheaper than it is in the USA or in Japan. I was working 2 part-time jobs to pay my fees, so I just plain wasn't able to attend all of my courses. I restarted the year over, and this is where the real story begins. This time, I was prepared. I had some savings so I could focus purely on my studies and not have to work at the same time. I was seeing many people and making friends with most of the university. I mean, there are about 20,000 students in the university, and about 70% were girls. That seems inordinately high, OP. But that might be what attracted the Neckbeard. Who let that Neckbeard in here? As I was seen as a confident person, and I had lost quite some weight, I was awarded the title as the party organizer. I used to organize quite some parties at high school. I mean, literally like in the high school. We drank a whole bottle of Jack Daniels while making a barbecue at school, which of course all this was prohibited, and I ended up getting woken up in a tree on Friday morning in the schoolyard by the principal, who was still wearing his pajamas. No way the principal came to school in his pajamas, bro. This is a dream.
Did you have fun yesterday, OP?
My first blackout. Maybe I'll tell that story another time. I don't know what subreddit that will fit into. Anyways, I organized a party with all the first year students and maybe 70 people in a Japanese restaurant. We had some fun. I helped everyone who was shy to introduce themselves. I asked all the first year students to sniff some wasabi as a welcoming ritual. I know it's disgusting, but it was fun to see them comply. Bro, you're quickly turning into a piece of shit. Can I tell you're straight? That's not cool. I was sad for OP when he was getting bullied, but as soon as he becomes the bully, I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you, dude? Why would you do this? Maybe he's gonna get along swimmingly with this Neckbeard. I guess we'll see. This is where I met him, Ghostbeard, or GB. Ghostbeard was not a typical Neckbeard. He was skinny, had many anime t-shirts, he was tall and had sharp blue eyes, some neckbeard growing, but not really that much. He seemed friendly, and introduced me to someone that he had just met as well. Elf Friend! One of the best things that he actually ever did during his time with us. I met Goth Friend as well there, and many other people. We ended up becoming a huge group. We made a lot of parties, and Ghostbeard slowly but surely showed his true colors. I'm still trying to peel myself off OP making these kids sniff wasabi. I'm really mad at you, OP, just so you know. At first, Ghostbeard was really friendly. We were all having fun with each other, but, you know, it was friendly. Sniffing wasabi, but it was friendly. You just make him do whatever, but as long as you say it's friendly at the end. I drew a dick on his face, but it was friendly. God. But Ghostbeard, did not take these words in a funny and friendly way. He always looked shocked. Oh my god, this is the story where OP is actually worse than the Neckbeard. I hate to call him out on it because it is a subscriber submitted story, but also I gotta call him as I sees him. I pull no punches, okay? When taking pictures, for some strange reason, Ghostbeard was always blurred on the final print of that photograph. He also had no smell. Oh my god! Which is why I call him Ghostbeard. Oh, I thought he was like Whitey from Me, Myself, and Irene, just an albino. This is much better. He was a big fan of soccer and animes such as One Piece. His dream was to get
A girl like Nami.
big boobs and slender, for those who aren't familiar with One Piece, which includes myself, because that is way too much anime for me to sit down and actually commit to. Anyways, university was tough. We were having fun, but we were also paying really close attention during our classes. Ghostbeard, however, was almost always on his phone or just generally not paying attention. Then he was always asking for our notes during classes. He used to say,
It's not that I'm slow. It's just that time is going too fast for me.
time dilatation's a real bitch when you're dead. Oh, that is a golden line. I think I would remember that quote forever. At the beginning, we didn't really mind all this. I mean, we were all friends, and that'd be great if we could all succeed together. But at some point, it definitely became annoying. While we all wanted to spend time studying, he always told us that we could do it later.
Come on, it's boring. Let's get out and go somewhere.
Huh? Bro, exams are coming up, you know?
Yeah, it's okay. It's not gonna be that hard.
Ah, now we're seeing the Neckbeard come out. That lovely entitlement. He failed the first semester. It was just a total disaster.
That's okay. I just need to get good grades in the second semester.
He told us. Okay, if you say so, Ghostbeard. At some point, I was introduced to some other friends, and that made our group even bigger. We slowly started to notice some small, annoying behaviors from Ghostbeard, with him saying things such as, I'm just gonna use the Mario sound effects,
Gay people should be.
I don't want to say bad words, as I do not share these opinions, but yeah, not a good place for those type of comments. I don't know if any place is a good place for those type of comments. He'd also say,
Lesbians are sick. It's a disease.
etc. Are you sure that these are some small, annoying behaviors? Or are these like glaring personality flaws? I know OP ain't from the US, but, you know, I do believe pretty heartily in freedom of speech and such, but I also believe in the freedom to not have your bigoted opinions shoved down my throat and to pick the friends that I actually want to hang around with. Friends that represent me, which means the first time, boom, that's it. I ain't gonna see you no more. Ghostbeard got ghosted. But I suppose that attitude towards friendship comes with age. When you're young, you want to have that big social circle and feel like the really cool guy and make them all snort wasabi. What the fuck? I'm still not over it, OP. Ghostbeard's definitely worse than you are, but that's not a cool thing to do. I'm going on record. Then, while having a small afternoon get-together drinking with some friends, Ghostbeard urged us to come with him to a bookstore.
Come on, guys. You'll all get fat if you do nothing but stay here drinking.
He said. Yeah, that's okay, Ghostbeard. We're just chilling. No rush. We were having fun. Talking about life, expectation. You know, being a 20-something. Ah, I remember it fondly.
Come on, guys. It's so nice outside. We should go for a walk.
He insisted. So we all decided to just comply and walk to the fucking bookstore with him. Then he bought his new One Piece manga and told us,
Okay, see you later, guys.
Wait, what? You're leaving now? We were shocked.
Yeah, I have one piece and now I'm gonna go read it.
Why did you want us to come with you if you're just gonna leave us after buying your manga?
Oh, come on, you guys. You ruined the atmosphere.
Oh, it's some good cringe, boy.
I have my manga. I'll just see you guys at school.
And then he left. We were a bit pissed off, but mostly disappointed to have left our nice little spot with our drinks. That is so self-centric and also an extremely insecure move. He doesn't want to go to the bookstore by himself, so instead, he uproots this entire group of friends to go with him. And as soon as he gets what he wants, he's just like,
Okay, see you later.
oh, he's detestable. I don't even know if he realizes how detestable he is, but my God. I hope you got some more drinks. I hope you salvaged the day. He always showed up late for movies as well, like 20 minutes or more.
Sorry, guys. I had some issues finding a parking spot.
We sighed, but at some point, it was just no use. He was a very bad liar.
Oh yeah, that dang parking spot.
And we called him out and said, you came by subway. How could you have any trouble finding a parking spot?
Well, I had to park my car near that subway station.
Driving a car myself, I know that at this subway station, it is basically always empty. I know that for sure. Anyways, he was also the worst driver ever. You know what a keyboard warrior is, right? Those people who feel mighty invincible trolling people through their computer. Well, Ghostbeard was a wheel warrior. An absolutely evil driver who would always honk at people, drive over the speed limit, and just swore all the time at other people.
Get off my road, you bitch! Fuck your mothers!
You ate my shit! Unfortunately, he and I were the main drivers for our group. Other friends had no car, so sometimes friends would just flat out refuse to get in his car. And I would have to drive the entire route twice to pick everyone up. Oh God, what a pain in the ass. All right, you win some wasabi points back for that one, OP. That is above and beyond the Call of Duty. At the end of the day, I don't blame them. I understood their worries. Nobody wants to die because some maniac is at the wheel. We all went to a convention and had a lot of fun, buying manga and all the stuff that we do as manga lovers, and we all separated that evening. Some of us wanted to end the convention by eating in a nice diner with some burgers, but Ghostbeard had spent all his money on anime paraphernalia and just couldn't join us. The day after, at the university, he got a black eye. Is that related? He got kicked by a junior high school student and got all of his stuff taken away. Oh boy. Sucks to suck, I guess. We did sincerely feel bad for him, but we could not understand how a 22-year-old man could be beaten into the ground by an extremely young neckbeard, like 16, 17 years old. If you're 22, you should not be losing to a 16-year-old, okay? You are bigger, you are stronger. Anyway, speaking of that, we later found out from the exam board that his age wasn't even 22. He reassured us that
it was just a mistake, and he would ask for that to be changed.
Turns out it was not a mistake. This guy was 28, not 22. Why would you even lie about it? Jesus. When he told us he wanted to
date a Japanese schoolgirl because they're cute and innocent,
we found that kind of cute and creepy. Now we just find it completely creepy. It was creepy the entire time. That's not acceptable. It's fine to have your little fantasies and play pretend, but she's just a child, god damn it. You're 28. Leave that girl alone. So many stories, man. They just went on and on. Of course, he failed the second semester. Let me explain how. Elf friend, goth friend, and some other friends, as well as me, were all studying, while Ghostbeard was just sitting around watching something on his smartphone. The next exam was about marketing, and it was tough. Hey, Ghostbeard, you should study a bit. This exam matters a lot. You should try and get at least like a 50 out of 100, I said.
Nah, I'm gonna focus on Japanese conversation and get a 100 out of 100.
He replied. You know that Japanese conversation is coefficient 1, right? Marketing is coefficient 2, so even if you get a 100 in Japanese conversation and a 30 out of 100 in marketing, you will still not pass the final exams.
Don't worry about me. I'll be fine,
he replied, with an extremely cringy smile on his face.
I'll finish the marketing exam quickly, and then I'll just work on my Japanese exam,
he added. All good, bro. Up to you. I can't live your fucking life for you, I guess. So we all packed up our stuff and got to the marketing exam, which was supposed to last about 2 hours, which meant that we probably wouldn't be able to leave until at least an hour and 30 minutes later. That was just common sense for me and the other friends, and basically anybody with 2 brain cells to rub together. But that does not include Ghostbeard. Once we arrived and sat down, I just felt like I should remind him about my concerns. By the way, Ghostbeard, you do know it's supposed to last 2 hours, right?
Yeah, of course. That'll give me plenty of time to focus on Japanese when I leave the class,
he replied. You know that teacher, Mr. M? He'll probably not let us leave until at least an hour is up. I just heard,
1 hour?
I turned back. Ghostbeard was supposed to be behind me, and I tried to add, by the way, you should, but he was already gone. Living up to his namesake, I see. You know when in some like Looney Tune cartoons, some of them characters are speeding so fast that you just see dust kicking up from where they formerly were? Well, that was exactly what had happened to Ghostbeard. Or like in Naruto, I think it was Kagebushin no Jutsu, when one character vanished in 1 second and was just replaced with a piece of wood. That was it. I mean, his head's basically a block of wood anyways, isn't it? You replace one piece of wood with another piece of wood. What's the difference? All of us just saw that dust floating down as he magically disappeared in like less than 1 second. Well, turns out the exam was a Q&A. Difficult one, but still manageable if you knew your stuff. You'd get 1 point for each correct answer, minus 2 points for each thing you got wrong. Since we all worked and knew our stuff, we were able to finish pretty quickly. We actually finished the entire exam in 15 minutes. We went into the cafeteria to see him just totally shocked.
What the hell? How did you guys get out so quickly?
He yelled. Well, turns out the test was Q&A and we didn't have to stay if we had already finished, said Elf Friend. It was quite easy, in fact, Goth Friend added. Ghostbeard turned red, totally mad, at me. No personal responsibility here.
Oh my god! I knew I had to take it. It's OP's fault if I don't succeed. I shouldn't have listened to him and now I'm screwed.
We could not believe it. At this point, I have no expectations regarding Ghostbeard, but Elf Friend, who was about 10 years younger than this guy, and is usually the one defending him and trying to find him excuses, totally lost it, and explained in a very strict but calm voice, listen, it's time to take charge of your responsibilities and face up to them like a human being. OP has nothing to do with your test results. You are failing because you were too lazy to work. Last time you told us, oh, you couldn't work because you're still shocked about Michael Jackson versus death. What the fuck is that? Yes, that is a true explanation he gave. The next time you couldn't study because your favorite soccer team lost a match. Grow up. Grow some balls. Seriously. I couldn't hear the rest of the scolding, but mainly this is what was said, and I was laughing so freaking much. And you know what? He also failed his Japanese exam and did not succeed in any of his classes. I mean, OP can't laugh too hard. Didn't OP fall on his face because he's working and shit? But yeah, I guess working and failing is different than just being a lazy slouch and failing. So that was the end of the first year for us, but not for him. And not the end of the story, as I'll write the second part of this saga if you're interested to know what happened with Goth's girlfriend. Monumental story. Let me know if you're enjoying the story so far. Cheers! from a neckbeard in Japan. Because yeah, I ended up working in Japan years later. Well, congratulations for achieving the dream and such. I hope you aren't making any of your Japanese coworkers snort wasabi. I'm sorry for calling you a piece of shit. In the end, you did turn things around, okay? It's just one bump in the road. We're all young. We all make mistakes. I hope you won't hold it against me that I held that against you, all right? I definitely appreciate the story. There was certainly a good amount of cringe, more than I expected, but it's the light kind of cringe, you know? After the heavy cringe that we had while digging through r/neckbeard nest yesterday, I think we needed some lighter stories, so I definitely do appreciate this. Obviously, you can post the other parts. I would much appreciate it if they are related to Neckbeards or one of the other subreddits that I can attach it to. That would be cool. Otherwise, you know, it might take me a while because I'm trying to find a place to put it and whatnot. Ghostbeard is definitely a character. I hope if you do write another story, it includes more Ghostbeards. Goth girlfriend, like, okay, if it's cringy, I'll read it, you know, but I'm not so much into just a love story. I want the Neckbeards in there. Or maybe goth girlfriend's a legbeard. I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and find out. But I definitely appreciate you sharing with us, user Wandering Black Cat. And as always, my subreddit is open to absolutely anybody who would like to share some stories with me. It is always massively appreciated. I mean, without stories, we basically don't have a channel. So thank you to anybody who has posted.
But he'd go down on me for hours.
You know, I can eat a peach for hours.
Creepy ass man Neckbeard I dated for 2 months. Ass man, one word. That's new. On mobile, this may be a little rambly. When I was around 19 or 20, I had joined a dating site. I met someone on there, let's call him D. He messaged me first asking about my interests, and we met up for coffee eventually. At first, he genuinely seemed like a down-to-earth, kinda geeky guy, and he seemed sweet. He did meet the physical criteria: thinning hair, patchy beard, complained about his weight even though he made no effort to change it, not into anime, but video games and tabletop RPGs. Yeah, anime leans more towards like weeaboo, doesn't it? He also played Second Life. Oh, not World of Warcraft. Second Life. It's a different kind of RPG, but probably cringier. And he always bragged about the girl that played with him on there.
I flirt with her all the time.
I will point out too that I was still in this naive age where I thought you were obligated to give a guy a chance just because he compliments you. I had also been single for quite a while. So as this thing progressed with D, he immediately referred to me as
his girlfriend.
I just took this as a sign that he was super into me, introduced me to his friends and his interests and hobbies right away. There was something very weird about his compliments though, which I've noticed with a lot of neckbeards. When I say weird, I mean like very obviously fetishized. I do look a little more quote-unquote alternative, as much as this term annoys me, but he would say things like,
"Oh yeah, you're my little freaky girl."
oh god, that's good cringe. I feel like this made him assume that I was into a lot of freaky or kinky stuff, because after the first time we kissed, he immediately started asking me about all these sexual acts he wanted to try and if I did them. He flat out asked me, really giddily,
if I did anal.
This had to be on like our third date. Run! Turn in the other direction and run. Jesus. When it came down to getting intimate, he admitted that
he was a virgin.
God. It just gets better. I wasn't, but I thought to myself that maybe it could be fun because I could initiate some of the action. Oh boy, was I wrong. He would immediately complain about condoms, insisting that
he couldn't orgasm with one on.
Like, how the hell would you even know that? You've never had sex. You know this man's jerked off with a condom on, dude. Just to see how it feels. He made jokes all the time about,
Porn has ruined me. My friends have totally turned me off from condoms.
like, that just makes me feel terrific, bud. I'm the only thing in this world that doesn't turn him on. He was just the definition of someone whose entire view of women and sex came exclusively from pornography. I tried to be understanding and help him along the way, but I was obviously getting frustrated. He was so desensitized to actual sex, it just wasn't funny. Here are some other cringy things that he said/did. He had a very narrowed and weird obsession with asses. He always had to excitedly exclaim,
I love butts.
if the subject ever came up. At this point, you basically got to tell him, like, hey, if you love butts so much, you could just be a gay guy. Nothing wrong with that. He never fucking let up about the anal thing, even though I said that I didn't want to do it. I'm not against the act by any means. It just wasn't my thing personally. Plus, I especially don't want to do it if I'm being pressured into it. Nice line drawn in the sand there, OP. I'm with ya. I am a visibly tattooed woman. One day he made this stupid joke about how,
my buddy shared this post that said, why do women not like anal but have tattoos and piercings?
I don't see how that's related. Like, first of all, that's a stupid comparison, indeed. Second of all, yeah, that totally wasn't a jab at me because I have tattoos. Ugh, the look on my face must have said it all. Bro, don't leave it at a look. You should have eviscerated him at this point. Now, I'm a sex-positive person, so I mentioned something about porn one day. He saw this as an opportunity to show me some video about this woman that got picked up by a male actor that then forced her into a Nelson position to have anal sex with her. And this was after she screamed that she didn't want it. Like, wow. I know they're actors, but that's basically depicting violence. And he thought
it was funny.
Bro, that is such a huge red flag. China would be jealous of it, all right? Violence in a sexual act, you know, it might be okay if it's consensual. But these actors, this production totally went out of its way to stage it as non-consensual. And this guy is watching this, like, not just watching it, but he wants to share it with the girl that he's dating. Like, oh, bro, wow. I'm so glad you got away from this dude because this is horrifying, honestly. My name's Chloe, and his nickname for me was
Chloe Butt.
Like, it's not even clever. Usually when you think of a nickname for someone, there's some sort of inside joke or pun that goes with it. That's just smashing two words together. It annoyed me so much, but he kept saying it. See what I mean about the unhealthy obsession with ass? I guess it's a better nickname than Skid Mark. That's what the kids in gym class called me. That's not true, maybe. The real kicker in all this, he is the one who dumped me. His reason was,
you spend way too much time with your family.
And this was posted a year ago. This was like the height of the COVID-19 madness. Well, at the time, I still lived at home, and I'm an only child. It just works that way, so sorry. Do not apologize for that, OP. This guy's off his rocker. I think he was just trying to get laid, honestly. We did have one very brief sexual encounter. He ended it shortly after. He got what he wanted, and you got free of a creepo. So, all's well that ends well, I suppose. That's the end of my long rant. Sorry about the length, but I hope you guys found it entertaining. Have a good day and stay safe. From a once young and stupid girl with a butt. That outro kills me, dude. Honestly, I have no idea how you lasted 2 months with this guy. I don't know how you would have lasted 2 days. He's just like a scuzzy douchebag. He's mostly taking advantage of like OP's lack of experience and low self-esteem. Hopefully she's older and wiser now. And hopefully this guy, I guess, got it figured out. Like, Maybe he is a gay guy now, you know? Maybe he got all the butts that he could ever want. I mean, admittedly, he does seem like just horribly immature overall, but immaturity is no excuse to be like such a massive douchebag. And the most worrying thing of all was definitely the porn that he showed her. Like, that makes me extremely concerned for who this guy went on to victimize in the future. And it basically is victimization, you know what I mean? OP was in the relationship voluntarily, but at what cost? At what cost? So 2 months is definitely more than just one creepy date. So I guess we're coming out of the gate with both barrels, and then we're going to wind it back just a little bit. We got one more cringy date to get through, and then I'm going to wrap this video up. Thank you guys for being here with me today. Have you subscribed yet? I hope that you will. Have you checked out my wife's channel, Mr. and Mrs. ReddX? Please do. And with that mid-roll plug out of the way, we'll jump into the next story. A terrible date story. Yes, my favorite kind of date. I don't think this qualifies as a beardy story, but it's cringy, and I know how beloved cringe is. Thank you to ReddX for the videos and making my workdays go faster. Hey, thank you for watching. This channel would be nothing without you guys. And that is totally science. That is just a fact. Church, as some might say 10 years ago. Anyways, this all happened in 2010. Hey, so church fits right in with the time. Cool. I feel awesome. I was 26 at the time. I wrote the below story afterwards. I did make a few updates to it recently. They're basically two characters, me and this dude. Tiny backstory is that I have a panic disorder. At the time, it was untreated, so I'm always very cautious about everything, ever. I also have primary hypertension. Staying calm and relaxed is the goal of my life because of these two things. Well, that sounds pretty rough, OP. Have you tried smoking trees? It's just a joke. Don't do that. I'm not a doctor, okay? Neckbeard scientist, okay? The worst date ever. Think of the worst date that you've ever been on. Were they late? Weird? Smelly? Maybe socially awkward? Did they say inappropriate things? Was there just no chemistry? All of those issues are small potatoes in comparison to my worst date ever. I have been and continue to be single. I'm okay with this situation, and I enjoy being alone, but sometimes I feel kind of bad about it. In one recent bout of feeling blah, I signed up for a free dating site. See, free dating site, that's the whole problem. All the creeps are on the free dating site. I'm not saying you're going to find the love of your life if you pay for it, but a free site is a good way to pick up a weirdo or a catfish. Nothing much really came of it, and I wasn't really surprised. A month or so after my initial sign up, I got a message. The guy seemed normal and excited about our similarities. When I logged on to send a reply, he IM'd me. We talked about computers and other nerdy endeavors. It was all normal. No warning signs, no red flags, no foghorns of, what the fuck? He requested my phone number and I gave it to him. The ensuing phone call probably should have been a big, red blinking indicator of the strangeness to come. He spoke only about himself, and whenever I began to speak, he would cut me off. Ah, boy. I chalked it up to nervousness, and I silently listened to a very bizarre story. After hearing about his father, who recently committed suicide, his most recent ex, at the time they were still living together, she broke up with him after her previous ex suddenly regained his memory. Regained his memory, bro. That's like something on Days of Our Lives, isn't it? Or is this like a figure of speech? And all his mental health issues. Everybody is a little weird, and I have lots of experience with mental illness, so I just kind of brushed it off. I could see that, I guess. You don't want to judge somebody after just one phone call, right? My family's like rife with the mental illness. No cancers and stuff like that, but addiction and mental illness everywhere. But I don't want to get into that. After such a harrowing life story, I didn't know what to expect next. Well, he began to ask extremely personal and private questions.
Do you do anal?
No, he didn't say that. I don't consider myself a prude, but discussing things like this to a stranger was awful. I got to hear about how
He wasn't the best at sex, but he'd go down on me for hours.
I could eat a peach for hours. That is the line that stuck out to me the most. And you're doing it wrong if you need hours. Damn, OP, too real. I assume this was nervousness too. I ended the extremely one-sided conversation with an agreement that the next day we would have dinner together. Oh boy. I woke up the next morning to several text messages from the guy. They all came ridiculously late. He promised to call me before his appointment with his therapist. He did call, and he told me about how he was thinking about me while laying in bed naked with his dog. You're killing me, dude. Why's the dog involved? What's going on here? He said he would call again at 3:30. Well, 3:30 came and went with no call. At this point, I'm having panic attacks because I've realized just how unstable this guy actually is. I still went through with it. I arrived at the restaurant on time, but spent 20 minutes in the car practicing my deep breathing. Bro, I'm gonna need some deep breathing too. 20 minutes later, now 40 minutes past the time we had arranged to meet, I get a call from him saying that,
he overslept and he's running late.
You overslept for dinner, bro? Yeah, okay. He lives far from the restaurant and
He's on his way.
I didn't leave because it was my favorite restaurant. Oh, don't stain your favorite restaurant with memories of this creep. I have a nice job and I'm completely comfortable having a lovely dinner by myself. Nice. I do like that. I got seated and ordered my favorite dish. If he shows or not, I don't care. I'm having a good meal. I like your style, OP. That's down as hell. 1 hour later, now 2 hours late, he arrives with a red gift bag. The present is what makes this the worst date ever. It isn't the lateness. It isn't the weirdness. It wasn't even the inappropriate conversation. The terribleness of this date completely relies on the contents of this red gift bag. Inside the red gift bag were 19 pairs of underwear. Say it again to yourself. 19 pairs of underwear. Just 19 pairs of underwear in various styles and colors. The underwear itself was really nothing of note. Some of the 3 for $9 variety from Target. I don't know why it was 19. You were so close to 20. 19's not divisible by 3. Neither is 20. I have no idea what's going on here. He probably bought 18 underwears plus a special one. That's the theory that I'm going with. Although he could have bought the 21 underwear and then just kept a couple for himself. He took one from the bag, but then he forgot he took one from the bag, so he took another one, you know? But I'm not trying too hard to think about that. Occam's razor says he just added one. Well, I set this bag down in a chair at the table, and I wish that I could throw it into the sun. There was also a sparkly, romantic card. Ooh, stepping his game up. Do you think he was so late because he was busy buying underwear? He didn't oversleep. He's just out there buying underwear. It's so ridiculous. The only thing I remember about this card is that he crossed out love and wrote like. Oh, top tier cringe, dude. I threw the card away promptly when I got home. I remember when I mentioned the inappropriateness of the card to him, I got this response.
Notice that it didn't say that I love you because I don't.
Yeah, because that made it all better somehow. I'm dying, dude. And at this point, I'm having a massive panic attack. I can't process 19 pairs of underwear as a first date gift. My blood pressure is so high that I know I'm going to have a stroke or a heart attack or just explode. I told him that while his present is nice, it isn't really socially acceptable. 19 pairs of underwear. First date. He said,
Yeah, he regretted it.
I suggested like maybe some flowers or some candy or like any fucking thing else. I had a hard time paying attention to what he was saying after that. My dinner was left half-eaten. I remember thinking to myself that I have to calm down because this guy was a former powerlifter and a lot larger than me. I had left my stun gun at home, and I needed to keep it together long enough to make it out. Bro, I say this so often, it must be so hard to be a woman. This is like a completely different frame of reference for me. You know what I mean? I have a bad day, I walk out, I don't think twice about it. But yeah, what if this former powerlifter freaks out on her? Jesus. To make things even more uncomfortable, he pulled his chair right next to mine and leaned over frequently to touch my hands. I got to hear about
How I was cute, but not as much as his friend's girlfriend, who was pretty much a model.
Oh my god, dude. I can't anymore. He told me
Then he was frustrated because I wouldn't look him in the eyes.
I don't look most people in the eyes. Feel that too, OP. He also told me
About all the future plans he had for us.
Jesus. He also noted that I looked like I was about to burst into tears. Why don't you stop and step away if the woman looks like she's about to cry? You freak, you galoot. I was promised the cringe, and this story delivers in spades. I think the waiter noticed this too, because he began hovering. The dude ordered a margarita and a very big dinner, which only prolonged the awkwardness. Surprisingly, he did pay for dinner. I cut the date short. We had plans to go see a movie and get dessert, but I just couldn't do it. Even before he arrived, I knew I would not be able to do it. But after 19 pairs of underwear, I was beyond done. He didn't understand why I didn't want to go see a movie. Well, darkness and this guy? Yeah, no thanks. I finally got him to accept the fact that I was going home. There was pouting involved from him. Now imagine a giant powerlifter just pouting because he can't get the second half of his date. Beautiful. He demanded an awkward hug by my car. I went home and I had his number blocked by my phone company. There was no way that I could handle another date like that, or even risk any form of contact. I was nervous for months about the fact that he saw my car and saw the license plate number. Hey, thanks, panic disorder. I mean, it might be a thing to be aware of if this guy's like super crazy, but thankfully, he let it drop. OP logged back onto that dating site to delete the account. Well, guess who IM'd me as soon as I logged on? I hesitated for a moment, and then I hit delete even harder. Hit delete with the white hot intensity of 1,000 suns. I wish I could delete this experience. The two questions I get asked most often about this date: was the underwear the correct size? Yes it was. That type of underwear that comes in small, medium, large, or XL, so he basically had a 50-50 chance of getting it right, large or XL, and with full body pictures on the dating site, it probably wasn't too difficult to figure out. Did you keep it, and why? I did keep it. I didn't want to make him more upset than I already had by freaking out about it. It basically became an act of self-preservation. I also didn't have to buy new underwear for over a year. I just hope you're able to separate the thought of him from those underwear. So back to now. Flash forward. Panic disorder and blood pressure are now under control, still single, and that underwear is long gone. I'd assume so after a decade. My friends love this story and reference it a lot. I got you something. Is it 19 pairs of underwear? One friend brought it up recently, which is why I thought it might make a good fit here. I've been on many other terrible dates. None of them are interesting enough to make it into a full story, but they'd make some interesting short blurbs. Bad date compilation? Maybe. Oh, give it to us, OP. Come on. I did recently start dating again, so I might have some more new worst dates quite soon. I don't wish that on anybody. But goddamn, this is a hell of a story. I liked it a lot. So I guess the question now becomes, would you have one awkward dinner if you got a year's worth of underwear? Personally, if I wasn't married, yeah, why not? Do you know how good it feels to like buy a fresh pack of socks and just have some nice clean socks whenever you need them, pull them out of the drawer? Well, it's that, but with underwear. And for one night of awkwardness, I could totally do it. I don't know if I could do it if it was like a muscle-bound lady that I was scared would crush my skull like a robin's egg if I didn't give her snoo-snoo. But I guess I just, do like OP, be as amicable as possible, and get the hell out of there as soon as I could. I'm trying to think back. I can't really recall like any super awful dates that I personally have had. When I first got to Japan, I went out on a date with like a Filipina who was there teaching English or something, but we connected pretty good over dinner. It was just after dinner when she asked me if I wanted to go back to her place, and I was like, no, I don't really do that on the first date. And she asked me if I was gay. That's about the point where I should have asked her if she was loose, but I had a couple drinks. My brain wasn't working that quick. I was just like, nope, see you later. She didn't get the second date. Obviously, I don't hate myself that much. But that's about the worst dating experience that I've had personally. I do have some horror stories of girls who have tried to get a date with me, but I'm sure I'll write those Legbeard stories up at some point in the future. And they are Legbeards from Run Fair. It's a wild ride, I'm gonna promise you that. But for this video, I think that's it, friends. I definitely appreciate these dating fails. I've got it in my notebook to look up things for Second Life and dating fails and some beard baiting in video games, and I got all kinds of ideas for the channel. Right now my notebook is filled up with budgeting. Wifey and I are trying to get like a new house, so that'll be super cool. A house that we actually own, and you guys helped me do that with YouTube. Oh my god. Thank you so much. I would never have made it this far without you guys, and I'm so super grateful. Just watching is definitely enough, especially if you've watched this far. But if you'd like to help even further, I hope that you will like, comment, and or subscribe if you have not already. Maybe share the video around. This is some top quality cringe. If you know somebody that needs a laugh, send them this ReddX video. I also hope you check out the links in the description. We've got the Amazon affiliate link down there, Wifey's channel, Mr. and Mrs. ReddX, my personal subreddit, r/ReddXReads. We've also got the Teespring if you're trying to rock the merch. There's a bunch of social medias if you want to reach out to me there. Twitter, Facebook, Discord. I'm relatively active on all of it. Oh, and how could I almost forget about my gorgeous, wonderful, beautiful, generous patrons? You're seeing some names on the screen right now, and I would like to thank them all, but especially Zero MMX, Lady Nix, Robert Waits, Pope Squid, Rebecca H, Cider Drinker, Tato Fair, The Last Shinobi, Mark 211, Michael Undead, Aaron W, Mitch, John Hero, Candy Sora, DigiNZ, Fire Drake, Little Lone Wolf, Lone Island, Shara, Miss Monday, Silent Revolver, JM Coon, Leon Embers, TSM Kirby, Redwind, Synaptic Boomstick, Jerry, and Staples. Yeet! Definitely appreciate you guys supporting. Sometimes videos do get demonetized. It's extremely hard to know what the YouTube gods like or dislike. It seems just totally random. Like, I'll do a horrible video and it slips by, and then sometimes they'll peg me for just doing nice guys. Like, what the hell? But I don't have to sweat it too hard because of my lovely patrons. We did have one video get demonetized so far this month. Hopefully there's not another one, but if it happens, it happens. I'm willing to make the sacrifice to bring you guys the cringe. Obviously, if anybody else can support, that is massively, massively appreciated. I thank you so much in advance. But if you can't right now, friends, don't sweat it too hard. I just appreciate you coming on through, hanging out with me, and I hope that you come on back and hang out with me again tomorrow. Because really, the views is how my beard stays so buttery. In order to do so, you'll need to keep yourself safe out there. Wash your hands, super important. But also, take some time out. Do something that you personally enjoy today. Because you are loved, you are worthy, and you definitely, definitely deserve it. I'll see you in the next one, friends. And until then, bye-bye.